Immigration Plaza. So people have been protesting. Others around me with all their handcuffs and stick. And a gay person used to threaten me with a stick in front of the Washington Market Park, like 3 blocks down. They used to leave sticks all over the place. And also soon they started calling the police on me. They used to call gays faggots in England and beat them with a stick. So I'm a Nigerian transsexual. Some black Americans also incite violence against me down the street at South Ferry, Whitehall Street. They tried to beat me up. In Brooklyn, some black Americans, a black American came around and said, "You're soon going to be dragged." That was a couple of days ago. And soon I've been getting jumped by black Americans always trying to incite violence against me so the police can come and arrest me. Since Eric Adams said, the mayor, the black American mayor, said they should be arresting homeless and locking us up in the psych ward. That was the method my mother's daughters used to kill her in 2015. My mother's daughters went to inheritance camp. So there's always kind of provocation around me. The black Americans will try to beat me as a Nigerian. And also the police is joining in. Especially some days ago, it's been reported that an NYPD that was killed in Queens by a Spanish male. It was living in Long Island but was working for the NYPD, and the Spanish man killed him in Queens. And since then, the NYPD was screaming at the governor when she came for the funeral, and they were screaming at her. They turned their backs at her, showing her their butt. So I'm a Nigerian, and sexually I'll be described as a bottom. So they were showing her their butt and telling her to give them power. And since then, she and the mayor authorized the NYPD to be arresting homeless in the subway and stuff. And, so they're threatening me with a stick. They've been surrounding me. I'm not the one protesting. The protesters are even left. So this is their van number. So something has to be done about this. The NYPD under this Eric Adams, black American mayor, they're colluding with black American gangs. And they always try to stop me. The black American gangs will try to start a fight with me. And then the police can have an excuse to arrest me and beat me up. So this is what they're doing. This has to be investigated. Why they keep in England they used to beat gays with a stick and call them faggot. So my life is not safe. Please, I need your donation. I'm in a Nigerian transsexual. I was born a male. I'm now living as a woman and I'm being harassed. I'm underneath the umbrella because I don't like the camera recording my phone conversation and stuff. I'm charging my phone, the phone kiosk. And they put a logo here, 5 o'clock. As soon as I got somebody brought their dog to me, everything has dried up. Like somebody earlier also, everything has dried up because of the cold. So I'm being, it's like a lynch mob. My mother's daughters, Bolani and Flora, were moving with a narcotic gang. Was into inheritance camp, and they were trying to kill my mother in Pennsylvania. So my mother fled back to New York, and said especially that Bolale was feeding her character freeze poison, which was giving my mother bloody diarrhea and giving her heart attack symptoms. In 2015, around May 13, 2015, my mother fled back to New York to go to her hospital, and she was taken. As soon as she got to New York, she was admitted at Bellevue Hospital eventually. And the daughter showed up at the hospital without my mother telling her what hospital she was in. So I suspect the narcotic gang told my mother's daughters what hospital she was in. So they came all the way from Pennsylvania and they were trolling my mother, intimidating my mother, told the hospital to lock her up in the psych ward. Because before that, my mother had already contacted the Brooklyn Federal Court here in New York City, saying the police took her home on Staten Island and seized our passport. She had wanted to go to Israel to have surgery done because, she believed that Israel was the best place for her to get her surgery done. She already informed the Brooklyn Federal Court that she wants to go to Israel to have her surgery done, and the police seized her passport. And so she told the Bellevue Hospital that, she would like to go to Israel to get her surgery done. Then her daughters, framed her as crazy, said they should just lock her up in the psych ward. And that's a violation of a religious belief. Because if my mother wasn't crazy, and there's nothing wrong, people go for medical tourism all the time to Israel. My mother, because my mother's first husband did surgery for heart disease and died at the hospital in England. Our first husband was a graduate of Oxford University, was a very prominent Nigerian business person, politician, and died in England in a hospital while going through heart surgery there. So my mother felt like, that's for spiritual reasons. She said she would like to go to Israel to have a heart surgery done because she was afraid of dying from the heart surgery. And I said she would like to pray first. She being a Christian, she felt like Israel was a holy place. So she chose Israel for spiritual reasons. And my mother's Doris, my mother was a spiritual person that liked to pray. So Doris decided to confuse the doctor, and tell them to lock her up. And that's why my mother never gave them the information of what hospital she was in, because she knew they were the type to try to set her up and try to get her killed. She said they were moving with a bad gang. Our daughters were moving with a bad gang. So that our daughters were born in America. They live in Pennsylvania. My mother was born in Nigeria. She doesn't speak American English. So they decided to play my mother, because at that time, me and my mother was suing the NYPD. Because at the time, me and my mother was living in New York in 2010, the NYPD took her home without a court order. Eric Garner was helping us with the court papers, and the NYPD went and beat Eric Garner dead close to my birthday. And there's evidence that shows the NYPD may have killed Eric Garner on purpose, because I used to go to a black American church called Bishop Jordan Ministry in Harlem around that time, close to Harlem, upper, they call it the Upper West Side, I believe, in New York. It's not Harlem, it's not like near 96th Street, Upper West Side. And the pastor, the Bishop Jordan Ministries, Al Sharpton used to come to that church also. And so the pastor used to preach and say God told him the number 8 is a very spiritual number, and anything you do on the 8th of every month will be successful. I was born on the 8th month of July. I was born on the 8th of July. I said number 7, which is the 7th month, is also a spiritual number. Say this number 7 and 8 is a very significant number to God, and anything you do on that day will be successful. So, and he said, God doesn't believe in double digit. So it's a number like 17, you add 1 plus 7 equals 8. So God considered number 17 as 8. And they went and killed Eric Garner on July 17. I just met Eric Garner at the same place where I met him, Bay Street and Victor Boulevard. They said the NYPD went and trolled him and decided to choke him. And even his family said it was very suspicious. So after they had killed Eric Garner, the NYPD issued a report that day that he died of asthma. And his family was like, how did the NYPD know he had asthma? Nobody knew he had asthma. Under HIPAA, your medical information of a patient is protected. So Eric Garner never told anybody he had asthma. So for the NYPD that were strangers to him to have killed him and issue a press report that said that I died of asthma, how did they get his medical report? So fast, the hospital's not supposed to disclose someone's medical report without a warrant, So that shows they were aware he had asthma and decided to troll him and choke him dead. So some days ago, I was sending a message to an immigration group called Freedom and Vision Freedom. And I was in Brooklyn using a phone booth like this on Livingston and Oich. So some black American gangs always bother me in that neighborhood, because I always send messages to the United Nations, to all Brooklyn prosecutors from that spot. So they try to chase me away from using that phone booth, because it's located on Livingston, so they don't want me to use the phone booth there. They want to kill me eventually and make it look like I'm part of a spiritual cult that I didn't want to leave. I wanted to die and resurrect like Jesus, and they wanted to claim that I made choices, I made intentional choices to demonstrate my intention. So they want to spread this false narrative, so they don't like me to use the phone booth at Livingston, because Livingston shows you want to live, So they prefer me to go and use the phone booth at DeKalb Avenue. That's another phone booth I use. Long Island University. My father went to that Long Island University. My father is not dead. My mother went to that Long Island University. She's now dead. I went to Long Island University in Brooklyn. So they want me to be using the phone booth near Long Island University on DeKalb. So I stopped using that phone booth. I suspected that, You know, because they always harass me if I use the phone booth anywhere else. You know, so I suspected they want me eventually killed, and then to lie that I was part of a secret cult, and I always, as part of my membership, I always make intentional choices, like using the phone booth near where my mother was, where the university me and my mother and father went to, like a holy trinity. So I'm not part of any religious cult. I don't want to be die. I don't want to be resurrected like Jesus. I'm not looking to get killed. They said inheritance scam is very rampant in New York City, and they're targeting gays to kill. Even there was a case done by the Alvin Bragg, the prosecutor from Manhattan. You did a case whereby a gay guy, I think he was working for Robert Kennedy Human Rights Organization, and he came to New York City for a seminar for his organization, and he went to a gay club, and a black American gang member lured him with fake romance, lured him with romance. So the gay white guys decided to go take the black American male home. They said in the taxi, the black American gangster gave the gay white guy a drug laced with fentanyl, which killed the gay white guy, and the black American gangster stole the guy's credit card. And I ended up went to the guy's house, also stole all his stuff, and was spending the credit card at stores like either Bloomingdale or something. And I believe the black American gangster believed, dead people can't talk, and the prosecutor and the police would just think, oh, this gay guy used fentanyl and died naturally, and died from the drug fentanyl, nobody poisoned, and nobody would care to figure out, like, why is this credit card overcharged and stuff. So some of these criminals are just so emboldened. So Alvin Bragg were able to prosecute this black American gangster, I think either this year or last year. So I'm a gay Nigerian being targeted by black American gangs, and they're working with my mother's daughters. They believe I'm worth a lot of money, because when I came here in 2000 with my mother, I was arrested at JFK. They said there was something wrong with my visa. I was a minor child. Yeah, my mother had a green card, and they weren't supposed to arrest me because there's a law in America, you don't separate a mother and child. A prince from which I was a minor child. Under immigration law, anybody under 21 is a minor child. So I've been trying to sue U.S. immigration. I used to come here to court. There's a protest today. I used to come here to 26 Federal Plaza to court. And so I've been trying to sue U.S. immigration for the past 25 years. I can't find a lawyer to help me. And also the police took my home on Staten Island. I was living in a basement apartment with my mother, and the police came and evicted us without a court order, claiming the basement apartment is not safe. So every Ghana heard about it, was going to help me. As soon as I gave every Ghana the court papers to give to the police, in 2014, on Bay Street and Bishop Boulevard, they said the NYPD wanted to control the Uganda, the same person and killed him on July 17, 2014. I was under immigration surveillance since I was in immigration prison. I'm still under their surveillance. They say that's what they routinely do. Once you've ever been in immigration prison, they would put you on surveillance for life. So I guess they must have heard that Ghana promised to help me on Staten Island, and they told the NYPD that I'm trying to. I think the FBI working, the U.S. immigration uses the FBI for surveillance work. So I guess the FBI must have told the NYPD that these are Ghana guys trying to help a Nigerian get justice. So the NYPD went and took care of Ghana, killed them, and they left signs. Just like right now, they've been living, batting on the floor. Also, I've been suspended. The NYPD has been sponsoring hate attacks against me by black Americans, because I used to use the bathroom at Washington Market Park. I met you, I've been bragging at Washington Market Park on Mother's Day. I tried to speak with you, but you didn't want to speak with me. And your police detail, the Spanish guy told me to leave you alone. I don't know why you ignored me. You were shaking hands with the other people. I think it was on Mother's Day you came to the Washington Market Park. So in that park, the black American workers, they would be leaving sticks on the floor a couple of years ago. I'm like, this is, they just leave sticks in the bathroom all over the floor. So I understood that to be anti-gay, because in England, they used to beat gays with a stick to death and call them faggot. And soon the black Americans will start calling the police on me, saying I'm one of these homeless immigrants that is, trespassing. And they said in Brooklyn also, there was a black American that killed a homeless Venezuelan. So I believe the Parks Department was sponsoring the NYPD, was sponsoring hate attacks against immigrants, especially after Eric Adams said that he doesn't want homeless immigrants to keep coming to New York. He said he was okay with the South American immigrants coming to New York, but now that he then noticed the Africans are also coming to New York from Florida, because the governor of Florida, who was friends with Trump, was deporting immigrants from Florida to New York, put them on the bus. So Eric Adams says he's fed up also that it's okay with, he said it's okay with taking care of the South Americans, but now that he's noticing some people are coming from Senegal also. He said New York can deal with the additional Africans coming in. So he said, the immigration crisis will ruin New York's economy. At that time, New York had the budget surplus. So they said Biden then decided to charge Eric Adams with bribery by Turkey, and Eric Adams has been saying, that was a political prosecution. Then Trump decided to dismiss the charges. And Trump said he needed Eric Adams for immigration enforcement, and I believe, because I criticized Trump a lot also, and so I believe I criticized him online, and I said this Trump is going after anybody that has gone after him in the past, like Lolita James. He's now charging her. He removed the other prosecutor in the federal prosecutor in Virginia that wouldn't charge Lolita James, and brought a new prosecutor to charge her with forced marriage to her father for mortgage benefits in Virginia. So right now, I'm being trolled, and this is lynching, attempted lynching. And a couple of days ago, some as I was sending a message to an immigration organization called Envision Freedom. I was sending them a message a couple of days ago, and a black on Livingston and Oyster. I was using the phone booth in Brooklyn, and a black American guy came around me and said, "You're going to be dragged soon." So I quickly made a recording. A guy just came by me and said, "I'm going to be dragged soon." It was a Friday. I believe Friday is October 17th. Yeah, today is I believe today is October 21, Tuesday. Monday is October 20. Sunday is October 19. Saturday is October 18. Yeah, it was a Friday, October 17. And a black American guy came around me and said, "You're going to be dragged soon." So I recorded it, like, look, I'm and I sent a message to the Envision Freedom, and they decided to tell me that, "Sorry, we can't help you. We only help people that are in immigration prison." And the NYPD arrested me wrongfully in 2019 and stole my green card. And they said, under U.S. law, nobody can seize your papers. The Fourth Amendment said, bars police intrusion. People are supposed to be saving their personal possessions and their paper and effect without warrants. So they were arrested me and locked me up in the cycle in 2019. They were trolling me anywhere I go. They would come and troll me in the bathroom. I used to use the bathroom near Eric Adams' office. It was the borough president in 2019. In Brooklyn, I used to go to Quad Street Station to use the bathroom near the number 2 train. I would go to the women's bathroom for customers. And then the NYPD will come into the bathroom, kick me out, just to start a fight with me. So I will go in front of the train station near Eric Adams' office, and I'll tell the NYPD to stop harassing me. I'll be speaking out loudly. I say, "You NYPD, stop harassing me." I said in Ohio, when Nigerian just became mayor, and I say in Iowa, they allowed undocumented immigrants to get driver's license. I said, "You NYPD, stop harassing me." Then soon after that, the police arrested me and knocked me down in another part of Brooklyn called Berry and 4th Avenue. So I stopped coming to that Quad Street Station because I noticed the NYPD was trying to arrest me near Eric Adams' office. So I was like, let me just choose another part of Brooklyn. And somebody told me, "Stop coming to Brooklyn, period. We're going to set you up and hurt you." So I didn't take the person serious. I was like, let me just go to another part of Brooklyn. How would the person know any part of Brooklyn I'm in? So I've been under FBI surveillance. So the FBI has been giving my information to the NYPD and their civilian gangs to punish me for suing them in 2013 for taking my home on Staten Island. And they've already killed Eric Garner, so I'm the only one left to complete the criminal attack on lynching people for suing the NYPD. They said people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X allegedly, it's been alleged that the FBI got them killed at the CIA for leading marches against police brutality and for trying to get civil rights for blacks. They said the Martin Luther King family was able to sue the FBI and the US and CIA lately, very late, but they didn't get the information early, and they were able to use the South Carolina or North Carolina law because part of the plan to kill Martin Luther King was actually in either North Carolina or South Carolina, either one of the Carolinas. I don't know which one exactly. I don't remember which one exactly. And they said they were able to sue, but under the law there, they could only get $100 because that's the maximum for suing government, for suing any government entity there under a special law in South Carolina. So the FBI and NYPD, they are working with criminal gangs to troll me and to set me up to be arrested and dragged and killed. They say black Americans like Elijah McClain in Denver, Colorado, the police was trying to arrest him because they thought it was crazy because he was wearing a winter jacket in November, and it wasn't so. That's my personal business. So I don't know why they keep trolling me. I'm underneath the umbrella because I use it to cover the camera so that my personal information don't get leaked. There's a camera that records stuff, and they say people are like hackers will hack into your phone, will steal your password. So I don't know why they're into my business. So I'm trying to protect my phone from the camera so that the hackers don't hack into my phone and steal my password. I don't know why they are bothering me. A phone booth has privacy under American law. A phone booth has privacy. You're not supposed to throw somebody on the phone. You can't. People are supposed to be. It's called unlawful eavesdropping, espionage, and the police are supposed to know that. So I don't know if I could get there. Oh, it's already. So I know they've been trolling me. Even though this Adam said they've been looking for signs for someone that's crazy and homeless. I'm sure the police camera here will be able to record it. And they've been trolling me just because they said they should be looking for signs of craziness in homeless people. This Eric Adam, brought this about to try to set me up because I criticize him a lot. So the police have been paying a particular attention to me as a homeless. Very innocent things I do, like trying to block. There's a camera here, and I'm trying to block. They call them fishing, illegal fishing, or hackers from getting my password and stuff, and for my personal privacy. So I'm allowed to have an umbrella. I also use the umbrella to protect me from the cold. Because if I have anemia, as soon as it gets really cold, so I hide underneath the umbrella. And they've been, just trolling me for no reason. And I'm not a rude person, and they're acting very provocative. And it's someone to try to arrest you when I'm using the phone booth, especially when I'm talking bad about the NYPD. So and now the black American guys are joining in to try to get me arrested. Because this Eric Adams said they should be arresting homeless, and I noticed a lot of the homeless have disappeared from the subway. I've seen them arrest black Americans, so the person started arresting in the subway. And they said, she was a white woman from Europe in the 1990s. She used to hide in the subway in Grand Central from the cold, and the police drove her out in the 1990s. But there was a snowstorm, and they said, people didn't like that woman because they said she was older and she talks to herself. And she was like, and some people say she stinks. So the police, some people allege the police tried to kill her on the snow. They drove her out of the train station in the 1990s. Drove her out and she sat there in the cold and died. So since then, they said New York has had compassion on the homeless, saying the police can't push her out of the subway. So now they're kind of saying they should be pushing the homeless out of the subway and arresting us. And if somebody's not a danger to themselves, they're in the subway, safe, warm, you have no right to try to kill them and arrest them for talking to themselves. They said that woman always talks to herself. She may be suffering from dementia. She was possibly an illegal immigrant in the 1990s. And they said nobody liked her because she was a European old woman and she doesn't speak English. and some people say she stinks. So they decided to kill her, allegedly set her up to that. So I guess as a Nigerian immigrant, they've been trying to set me up also with provocation. And some black American told me on Friday, October 7, 2025, near Livingston and White, I was using the phone booth there, so you're going to be dragged soon, you watch. And now I've been noticing that police and some black American gangs attack me. Like yesterday, a black American gang was attacking me yesterday by Beaver Street, Broadway and Beaver. There's a camera there that records voices. I always beg for money, and people always buy me food. And the white guy said was going to buy me food, and the black American guys told him, said, no, don't buy that person food. They have food already. I said, why are you in my business? And the black Americans said, we're going to punch you, we're going to beat you, and they were touching their penis. So I guess they're trying to send a sign that, this is about inheritance scam. I guess they're trying to tell you prosecutors to not prosecute them, that they're trying to steal money from me by killing me. And they said there's a law in America called parentage by estoppel. Parentage by estoppel. They said that's a loophole in the law whereby you can go to court and say somebody was trying to adopt your baby, and the court would then allow the adoption to take place, especially if the person is no longer around, if the person is dead and can't contest it. They said the courts would always bend over backwards for the welfare of a child. So I believe this gang believe if they can just get me killed, get the police to kill me accidentally, then frame me up as crazy like this, I'm saying homeless people are crazy, then they can then move in and have my mother's daughters inherit my property, because I don't have any will. It's very hard to get a will done. You have to hire a lawyer. You have to have an idea. All my idea has been stolen. You have to have 2 witnesses documented that sign some as witnesses on the will, sign your will with you. So I don't know how to get a will done, and I don't have the money to hire a lawyer. So now this gang believes they can just kill. The inheritance scam is very rampant now in New York, especially if they feel you're potentially worth money, or there's something called ghetto lottery. Even if you don't have any asset, get the police to kill you, and then move in and claim that your family, or you have your family member inherit the money and share it among the gang. So I believe this is what they plan to do. They plan to kill me and then claim, I promise to adopt all these kids, and even use my mother's daughters, Bologna and Flora, as false witnesses to claim, claim, since I was a child, I always make any false statement that maybe I even lied that since I was a child, I've always said I wanted to adopt all the children in the world or something, and then they will steal all my property like that. So in case I'm killed or I die, no family member or friend should inherit anything from my estate or should administer my estate. Only civil rights activists like me should administer my estate, provided those civil rights activists haven't denied me of the past, and it should then get just for me and my late mother, and donate the rest of my asset or potential asset to charity for those that are suffering xenophobia like me and my late mother, and those being deported by Trump should be prioritized. No movie should be done about me. In my absence, I'm very guarded about my image. I'm not close to my mother's daughters. They've always lived here in America for a long time. My mother brought them to Nigeria around 1988, and they never even lived with me and my mother for long. My mother took them to a boarding school in Nigeria, and within a year they came back to America. So I'm not really close with them. And for a long time I lived with my father and mother in Nigeria. Even when the immigration arrested me in 2000, so they wanted to send me back to my father. I told them that my father's abusive to me in Nigeria, so I don't want to go back. So they asked me if I had any witnesses. I told when he was abusing me in Nigeria, I said no. So and the immigration asked me, did I tell my mother's daughters? I said I'm not really close with them like that. I'm very introverted. I don't really tell people. So my immigration fight, I'm very introverted. Nobody really knows my life story like that. And especially my personal, they're very private information that nobody knows about me, so I'm not very, so I'm not really close with anybody like that. So my immigration file that I'm introverted, and the immigration interviewed me in 2000. My immigration file number is A7795462A. I'm not a member of any religious cult. In case I'm killed, no. There's a pastor on Instagram that was saying when a Christian, any money a Christian has belongs to the church. I'm a Christian. I don't believe in that doctrine. My money is my money. My money doesn't belong to any church. So in case I die or I'm killed, if any church tries to take my money, no, tell them no. Only civil rights activists can administer my estate and get justice for me and my late mother, and use the rest of my assets to donate to charity for those suffering xenophobia like me and my late mother, and those being deported by Trump should be prioritized. And so so that is very interesting. You know, this is the Black American radio host saying Trump could pardon P Diddy this week. I've been reaching out to P Diddy's lawyers also that I have information that could help. Because I reached out to the Me Too lawyer to help me. You know, I reached out to the Me Too lawyer to help me after Eric Garner was killed because the police took my home in 2010, searched me naked in my home while kicking me and my mother out wrongfully from a basement apartment, and then they went and killed Eric Garner. That said it was going to help me because I'd filed a lawsuit against the police for sexual harassment and unlawful eviction. The lawsuit was filed in Brooklyn Federal Court that has jurisdiction over Staten Island. And the lawsuit receipt number is 13CV5052. So I called the Me Too lawyer to help me, and their lawyer Gloria already told me she can't help me because, she said she was trying to put R. Kelly and Weinstein in jail, and if she goes against the police, the FBI and the NYPD will drop the case against R. Kelly and Weinstein. So I reached out to P. Diddy lawyer to say, some of the prosecution is experiencing maybe a form of quid pro quo whereby Gloria Allred of the Me Too doesn't go against the police for sexual abusing people like me, and in return they help her arrest celebrities like P. Diddy. So I've been reaching out to P. Diddy's lawyer. I believe one of his lawyers, her name is Garagos. No, and they don't respond back to me. So I'm like, that's interesting for a guy in prison crying that he wants to get out of prison. And I have information that could help him get out of prison early. And he doesn't want to get out of prison early, but he's been crying. So I don't know if that case is a real case or not, because there's speculation on Instagram that case may be staged. I don't know. And it's not my job to interfere with the justice system in America. When I was saying Trump is going to pardon him this week. So I don't know if that's a real case or it's a stage case. But I did notice his lawyer wasn't interested in putting out information now that the Me Too lawyer told me she's bribing the police to arrest R. Kelly and Weinstein. And they seem not to be interested in, using my information to try to free P. Diddy. And now P. Diddy may get a pardon this week from Trump. That is very interesting. So I believe these people, Breakfast Club Charlemagne, I believe they are aware about what is happening to me. They're very in touch with the gay community. Because Charlemagne used to work with what's her name, Wendy Williams. And they're very in contact. They're very rooted in the gay community. And Wendy Williams has always portrayed herself as a pro-gay person. And so I believe I need to know about what happened to Eric Garner and what is happening to me. Some Black American gang wants to kill me and inherit the money as an inheritance scam. Because yesterday some Black Americans were bothering me on Beaver Street and Broadway. My mother's daughter Bonnie used to come around that area. She lives in Pennsylvania. All of a sudden she's been coming to New York a lot, and then these gang members have been attacking me. So when my mother's daughter came back to America in 1990s, after my mother traveled to Nigeria, they were staying in a place called Beaver Falls. So for some reason I go to that Beaver Street to beg for money. I believe they want to kill me that Beaver Street. The gang just because they feel they can, and to show, and so that they can boast about it, that it was an intentional killing, and they did it so that my mother's daughter could inherit my property and share it among the gang. So they've been targeting me on that Beaver Street and Broadway. It's like near the MTA headquarters. So yesterday as I was begging for food, the white guy said was going to buy me food, and the Black American guy said the white guy shouldn't buy me food. I have enough food in my bag. I'm like, why are you trolling me? And then the Black American said, we're going to jump you. And this was October 20, 2025, yesterday. On October 17, 2025, and on Friday night, as I was contacting a group called Envision Freedom, I sent them a Facebook message, And a black American guy came around me, said, said you're going to be dragged soon. And by Monday, they already tried to drag me. And this police surrounded me with a baton and, heckling me as I'm on the, say, why am I under your umbrella? I believe it's part of the dragging, and this has to be investigated as a police and black American collaboration to lynch a West African like me. I guess in retribution for the slave trade. As a matter of fact, when I was suing the NYPD, before Uganda got killed, I went on Facebook, and there was this realtor. It was a Bronx prosecutor, and he put a message online saying somebody needs an apartment to rent. He has a cheap apartment. So I called him on Craigslist. He put it out on Craigslist. So I called him. I said, sir, I need an apartment to rent. I said, I don't want a basement. He said, it's a street level apartment. I should come to the Bronx. And when I got to the Bronx, he told me to pay money first. I paid him money, and I think the name of his real estate company is Best Century Realty. I paid him money, and he put me in a car, so he was driving me to the apartment. And while we were in the car, this was in 2011, his Spanish agent was in the car and was saying, you Africans sold your own people to slavery, and was telling me, watch out for the payback. God don't like that, And the Spanish agent was so rude to me, and they drove me, showed me the apartment. It was an underground cellar. And I told them, no, you gotta give me my money back. My mother has a heart disease, and they removed us from a basement apartment on Staten Island, and me and my mother can't move to this underground cellar. It was like many floors above, underneath the ground. I said my mother will have a heart attack in this kind of place, because when it came to remove us from a basement apartment, which was like 3 steps beneath the sidewalk, the basement apartment we're living in wasn't even a full basement apartment. It could have been legal, because under New York law, it was a one-family house, and a one-family house, you can rent the basement of a one-family house to a tenant, as long as the window of the basement is above ground level. So the windows in the house is above ground level, and the house is like 3 steps from the sidewalk. So from the street level, you go down 3 staircases, 1, 2, 2 staircases, and you enter into the basement. So when the police came and removed us, said we were staying on the underground cellar. The buildings department guy also lied that we were staying on an underground cellar, is something totally underground, like something like this. No, we weren't staying on the underground cellar. We were staying in a basement apartment. One, it was 2 steps from the sidewalk. One, you took 1 step down, another step down. You get into the room, into the basement apartment. So they lied, and said it was a cellar, and as I was doing that, So in 2011, I was on Craigslist. I guess the FBI was monitoring my phone, since I was trying to rent an apartment. We were in a shelter where we were being abused in Brooklyn. At first, they put me and my mother, they put me in a Harlem shelter for singles YMCA. They said my mother can't come there, that they don't want to put my mother in a shelter. I'm like, my mother's a U.S. citizen, Nigerian American, and we're both evicted. I had a green card. I said, you can't just eliminate my mother. I said, your mother should be on the street. Only you are going to give her. And they put me in the YMCA. And they said my mother can't come to the YMCA, it's only for men. So we went to the 100 Gold Street here. Yeah, my mother said they have to allow her. Then they went and took us to the Bronx, a place called Fail Street. And it was a room, we had to share the bathroom with like almost 20 people. So it wasn't comfortable for us. Then they brought us to Brooklyn. And and while we were in Brooklyn, the shelter also, we had to share the bathroom with so many people. And under New York law, a family is supposed to be kept in a shelter that has a private bathroom and private kitchen. And they put us in a single shelter. Me and my mother were in a room in a single shelter. And we had to share the bathroom and kitchen. And my mother had heart disease, and she had to be eating fast food from McDonald's because we couldn't cook and stuff. And so the 100 Gold Street HPD, they were the one administering the shelter. They were just messing with me and my mother, because my mother had called the NYPD terrorists. When it came to evict us, she went on WB11 News here in Manhattan to call them terrorists. I bet in retribution. And Trump's friend Bernard Kerik, I believe, may have been instrumental to getting the NYPD to be arresting me and my mother and the FBI. Because at that time, the Trump's friend, after my mother went on WB11 News, helped me out with 10 o'clock news to call the NYPD terrorists for terrorizing her and me and Black Lives. The Bernard Craig, I believe, he put a statement in the media saying the law enforcement in America has to deal with losers that live in basement apartment with their child, so with their son. At that time, I was still a boy. I'm now a woman, and I'm a transgender Nigerian. So back to what happened on October 17, 2025, as I was sending a message to an immigration group in the help Spanish immigrants get out of prison. I told them I'm a Nigerian. I'm not in prison, but my green card has been stolen, and I can't really travel freely, so that's a forced imprisonment. And I told them, I need them to help me so I could get my green card back, because the police arrested me in 2019, and the NY police were supposed to arrest me and took the green card, and they went and dumped me in the psych ward. So I sent a message to the Spanish, group, So this is the message I sent to them. And they sent me a response that no, we can't help you, we only help people that are in prison. So as I was sending the message, I believe I sent the message on October 17. I don't know why it says October 16. But I guess Facebook can lie. So it must have been October 16 then. As I was sending the message, which I can forward to your office, a Black American guy came around me and said, "We're going to be dragged soon, you'll watch." And by yesterday, some Black Americans started to jump me. I guess they were trying to get me dragged like Rodney King was dragged by the police in Los Angeles. So I sent this group, this is like, so many pages with videos and stuff. They said, "Sorry, we can't help you." I know they help a lot of Spanish immigrants, with the assistance to get out of imprisonment, immigration imprisonment. And I told them my green card has been stolen. I believe the NYPD working with the immigration decided to because I was criticizing Trump in 2019, decided to arrest me and dump me in the psych ward and steal my green card. So here's the message I sent to Vision Freedom Fund. So my name is Babatunde Bopo. They were trying to use something called psychiatric deportation. They do that in Nigeria. They will send a lot of people back to Nigeria from America, and they'll put them on psychiatric medication. A lot of people that have green cards, and they just find themselves in Nigeria. And they said they'll call it, the U.S. immigration will say accidental deportation. Even though the person has a green card, they will just put them on drugs, the U.S. immigration, and send them in a straitjacket to Nigeria. So they do that to a lot of people that are diagnosed as mentally ill, even though they have a green card. I guess that's what the Trump administration was trying to do to me. How the police arrest me, dump me in the psych ward. Now it's been telling, it's been seizing the money. This Trump has been seizing the money for the MT operation. Said they have to arrest shithole homeless. Trump sent his transportation secretary early this year to New York City subway, and came to the subway, said the police have to arrest shithole homeless. This is a slot Trump has been calling Africans as shithole countries. So they have to arrest shithole homeless to get funding and seize the money for the MTA. So since the MTA have been trying to get me arrested and lock me up in the psych ward to make it easier to deport me, because I guess if they try to deport me through the courts, the courts may not allow it, because I was arrested wrongfully in 2000 when my mother brought me here. So the court may say I've suffered enough. The court may throw the case out. They say, but psychiatric deportation is when they put you on drugs and the immigration grabs you and puts you in a straitjacket and sends you back to Nigeria. So they're weaponizing Nigerian citizenship as a biological weapon to kill people. Like in my case, the immigration has been following me since 2000 when I was arrested, and killed my friend Erugana in 2014 while he was trying to help me. And You know what I'm saying? I guess that's why they misdiagnosed me as crazy in 2019, the NYPD. And they took me to a hospital called NYU Psychiatric Hospital. They said the head of that hospital is Kushner's friend. Kushner is Trump's son-in-law. You know, and they were misdiagnosing me as crazy. Like, they use something called Dr. Pepper. They say Dr. Pepper in American terminology is when a doctor decides to mess you up. A psychiatric doctor decides to mess you up and just treat you like you're crazy. They said they use that to abuse a lot of prisoners in American prison. The prison doctor will misdiagnose the inmate as crazy and then put the inmate on drugs, and then they will use the other prisoners as gang members to beat up the inmate. And if the inmate try to file a complaint, they will just blame it on the inmate's mental illness until they kill the inmate. So they're using Dr. Pepper in U.S. psychiatric hospitals, to abuse us immigrants. And one of the, I read about this group from AM New York on October 16, 2025. That there was an article that a lot of the people they're put in immigration prison also, they're forcing them to take psychiatric medication. They say if they take psychiatric medication, they will release them early from prison. You know, yeah. So this is the article. You know, so I told this Vision Freedom Fund. They help a lot of immigrants, Spanish immigrants like Efrain Rodriguez. I look at the message I put there. I said right here, I also find it disturbing that in the AM New York article, October 16, 2025, that listed your organization as providing assistance to foreigners in custody. One of the recipients of assistance from you, Efrain Rodriguez, mentioned something about migrants being forced to declare themselves as medically depressed before being given early release from ICE custody. And judging from the fact that people considered mentally ill experience a lot of abuse, like my late mother, a naturalized U.S. citizen, was framed up as mentally ill by her daughters. You know, so I say I'm very worried for my personal safety. You know, and this girl sent me a message that they can't help me. They only help people under immigration detention by ICE. You know, and this is just, this is like a form of ICE detention, whereby they had the NYPD take my green card from me and dump me in the cycle and roll my green card so I can't travel freely. This is like an ICE detention I'm under. It's like a forced imprisonment. You know, I tried to explain to them, but they wouldn't help me. You know, so please, I need justice, and I believe a number of people are aware of what I'm going through, and nobody just wants to help me. I guess through jealousy, some people believe they help me. I may get a lot of money, and what would they gain from helping me, with that? So some people are trying to force me into child trafficking, adopt a child with them, so they can be getting child support from me. I'm like, I'm not into any of those. Marriage, forced marriage, so they can be getting, support from me. So it's because of that, because I refuse to budge and get into an illegal scheme. So I've been without help. No lawyer will help me either. So I've been going through this for 25 years. I was arrested by immigration wrongfully as a child. I used to come here with my mother to Federal Plaza. And 25 years later, I'm still here, struggling. So this is the life of an African immigrant. 25 years under immigration issue. My mother has been killed. My friend Ghana has been killed. So this is life of an African immigrant. And so that's the African Slavery Museum, where next to the Immigration Plaza, the African Slavery Museum, where the African slaves, after they died, they buried them. Africa buried them here. So it seems there's not been too much change here in America. Today, I believe this Breakfast Club, Charlemagne, they may be aware of my case. I send them videos all the time. And Charlemagne used to work with Wendy Williams. She's very involved with the gay community, And yesterday, I did mention some black Americans were trying to kill me on Beaver Street and Broadway. And I believe, because my mother, when I was a child, used to tell me I look like Michael Jackson. So I believe these black Americans want to kill me and do a movie that I came here to America. I wanted to become a Michael Jackson. And as a child, I used to send letters to Michael Jackson so that I wanted him to sponsor me to come to America so I could start my music career. You know, and he never got any of those letters. They were sending back to me in Nigeria saying back to sender. Michael Jackson had just moved to Neverland Ranch. He had just bought a new mansion. So I used to send it to his former mansion. You know, so I believe some of the so I believe my mother's daughters may have gotten a hold of those letters that were sent back to me in Nigeria and would return to send us to him, and they recruited the black American gangs to kill me so that they can now do a movie about me that look, I lived a very sorry life. I came to America to become Michael Jackson, but I ended up being killed in the process. And just to mock my death, and I believe some black Americans may watch the movie that, oh yes, an African has failed to become Michael Jackson and died horribly, and just to make fun of Africans for slavery, pay us back for slavery. So I believe this is what is happening. So some black American guys want to kill me, and I believe some of the black American community are aware, because yesterday those black Americans tried to jump me. A white guy was trying to buy me food, and I told the white guy not to buy me food. I have enough food. And tell me to get the fuck out of here. The black American guys were about to jump me. It was a black American guy, and it was a Spanish guy also. So they throw me all around Manhattan. Even here, they used to send a Spanish guy to throw me, and they put the fight club here. They try to get me to a fight so the police can lynch me and drag me. Just like a black American told me around October 16 and October 17 that I'm going to be dragged soon. So they want to start a fight with me, and this Eric Adams administration is acting in concert with an attempted assassination of me, a Nigerian immigrant, and and there's something under New York law called acting in concert for a murder, which is facilitate it and abet. And its policy of telling people to be treating homeless people like crazy. That policy got a woman killed in the 1990s. She was from Europe, and they threw her out of the Grand Central Station in the snow, because they said nobody liked that, because they said she had a smell, and she was always talking to herself, but she knew how to protect herself by sitting down at the Grand Central, and they drove her out in the snow to die. And they said she died, but they didn't prosecute those police officers allegedly because there was no way to prove they did it on purpose. But New York now created safeguards saying the homeless are allowed to take shelter from the cold in the subway, and the police shouldn't kick us out. And now this Arcana said, is violating the Brooklyn Federal Court order also in 2013, November, Floyd versus City of New York. There's a settlement agreement the de Blasio administration reached saying that, saying that they're not going to appeal that court order, and that they're going to agree that the police can't just target poor people to arrest in any form, whether it's psychiatric arrest or whatever, and this Arcana said, screw that, it's going to violate that law, that court order, and it wants the police to be arresting us. And these police are not psychiatric doctors. Look, they were misreading, or whether on purpose, me hiding under the umbrella, trying to prevent scammers, fish from, trying to prevent myself from being a victim of phishing scam where cameras. I'm not accusing this phone kiosk link server of being a scam, but I said criminals can put viruses on computer software like this and control the camera and be able to log into your information. That's why I'm under the umbrella. So when you put a witch hunt out on the homeless backs, it's very easy for anybody that's mischievous to claim, oh, we mistakenly thought that person is crazy because Eric Adams said we should be arrested crazy. And so, this is a lynch mob. This Eric Adams said a lynch mob, and a black American died as soon as Eric Adams became mayor. They said this black American has survived, Jordan Neely. He survived so many years being homeless. His mother was killed like me. And so he's always been surviving, dancing like Michael Jackson, Jordan Neely, until Eric Adams became mayor. And within a year, this black American died. I don't think I don't think that Jordan Neely's death is a coincidence. I believe it's a systemic killing by this Eric Adams. As soon as he became mayor, he put a hit on me saying the police should be grabbing homeless. He campaigned on that. And within a year of Eric Adams becoming mayor, Jordan Neely was killed like 2 years, later. He was killed. And he was saying he was being this Jordan Neely, his last words were, It was being treated hostilely. They say he used to make money just like Michael Jackson, and he used to survive so many years. But as soon as Eric Garner became mayor, I said his life became much more tough. And I noticed as soon as Eric Garner became mayor, because of him inciting, violence against homeless people should be treating us as crazy. I was being targeted everywhere also. People try to beat me up on the train anytime I start talking, because I always, inform people. Like Jordan Neely, I always tell people on the train, like, I'm going through a hard time also. My mother's been killed, Eric Garner's been killed. And people used to help me, but as soon as I got up the kid mayor, I noticed some people try to jump me as I'm speaking. And as soon as Jordan Neely also was speaking, he was angry, and a white guy came behind him and choked him dead. Daniel Penny. Around that time also, I said any white person that killed a black person would get a lot of donation. I'm not saying he killed Jordan Neely because of donation, but I'm just saying, this Eric Adams policy of, telling the police to target poor people, and even though these police are not medical doctors, it's a form of medical violence, and it's a form of unlicensed practice of medicine, and they're using nurses to diagnose people as crazy. Only a psychiatric doctor can diagnose somebody as crazy. So I believe he may be trying to get me killed in retaliation for his family friend Eric Garner getting killed. So you, Alvin Bragg, the managing prosecutor, you represent Eric Garner's family. So this is a case you should be aware about, the way Eric Garner killed. You all believe Eric Garner was wrongfully killed. And I have the evidence. I don't know why none of you want to help me as a Nigerian. I want to survive. Please don't let me die. And then claim, you're so sorry, you didn't take me serious. So I also contact Jomani Williams on Instagram. Anytime I send him a message on Instagram, he'll do the peace sign and smile, put a video out. I don't know if just mock him as a Nigerian. And some people say they want to get married to me before they can help me. In 2020, they lock up all the bathrooms in the train station. They said because of COVID, and I was looking for a bathroom. There's like 500 bathrooms in the train station, and I couldn't find a bathroom. I have diarrhea, so I was going from train station to train station, and I ended up in 161st Street, 4th Train, Yankee Stadium. And I went to the police station and I told them, can you please let me use the bathroom? They told me no. Then the guy told me I could follow him home. I could use the bathroom in his house. And when we got to his house in the Bronx, he held me hostage. I said he wanted to get married. As part of helping, he wanted to get married. And I told him, no, I'm not looking to get married, because if you get married to somebody, the person can, any money you get from suing the U.S. immigration, the person can get that money from you. I said, I'm not looking to get married, And he raped me and beat me up and held me hostage until I was able to call the police to come and free me, and they wouldn't arrest him, and they left me with blood on my face. So I've been getting terrorized by marriage scammers, and I believe, they said inheritance scam is so rampant in New York. You have been bragged, you were able to prosecute a black American gangster that was able to kill a white gay person. I believe that white gay person worked for the Robert Kennedy Human Rights Organization or something like that, or some group, a humanitarian group like that, and came for a seminar in New York, and he couldn't escape back alive. He was targeted by a gangster who gave him drugs. The small laces the drug with fentanyl, and the white guy died on the spot, and the black American gangster took his credit card, went to Bloomingdale's and maxed out buying stuff or some store. So I believe some of them, so people have been telling me you're going to be next to be sacrificed for the gay scam. And I believe they're trying to use my mother's daughters to act as false witness and to inherit my property and marry some of these people, or adopt children with these people and share the money with them that way. So I believe this Charlemagne, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Charlemagne, on Breakfast Club, may be aware of what I'm going through. I see him sometimes, but it doesn't help me either. And I send him videos a lot. So he posted a video on his show today about Nicki Minaj. I think this Nicki Minaj will be aware about my case, because I just have a suspicion that she may be aware about my case because she released the album on July 8th or so. Like last year or some years ago, she released the album on July 8th. You know, you know, and I think she sang a song that she met a guy from the motherland and needed a visa. And, I don't know if that song was about me or whatever. You know, I don't know if some people, but you know, there's also a black American artist called Ice Spice. Because there was a time in Brooklyn I used to drink a lot of spicy noodle soup, on 53rd and 4th Avenue because I would sit in the cold begging for money after my mother died. But she used to give me money, and when she died, I didn't have any money, so I would sit in the cold begging for money. And I would start having cold, so I used to eat a lot of spicy chicken, buy it from the store. There's a store there called Palace Store, and they used to let me use the bathroom, and soon they stopped letting me use the bathroom. So I used to buy noodles with spicy noodles and put hot water in it and drink it like that. And the police came and arrested me around that area and locked me up in a psychiatric hospital. They have Spanish people spit on me, calling me negra and stuff. And it was just mistreating me. And this Spanish black lady, her name is Ice Spice. She came out with a rap album and she was saying, "You thought I was feeling you? You're just a munch. With my body I can get anything I want." So I think she was singing about me and saying, some people are targeting me, to just have a baby for me so they can get child support from. And if the lawsuit, I've been trying to sue the U.S. immigration for 25 years, it becomes successful. And it's too late now to sue the U.S. immigration. But the only loophole in the law is they can frame me up as crazy and kill me. Then they can then sue posthumously, claiming I was too crazy to sue the U.S. immigration. I believe this is why this African is trying to encourage a policy of locking up homeless as crazy, and they don't want me to be alive to challenge that. I'm like, look, I'm not crazy. This is just a frame up. So that's why they want the police to kill me. So this Eric Adams is policy of telling the police to be arresting homeless and frame us as crazy. Even though I've reached out to Eric Adams so many times online, that is a court order since the 1990s that says the people being removed from their apartment, basement apartment by the police, should be given hotel rooms by the city of New York. That it's wrong to just kick somebody out of a basement apartment without a court order. Because the Fourth Amendment said people should be secure in their belongings and in their residence and can't be intruded upon without warrants from the court. So back to this Charlemagne, I believe they were aware that Eric Garner was trying to help me and he was killed. And he's also into activism, but I guess nobody don't want to help me directly. For some reason, but they'd rather just publicly address my situation and use it in a innuendo. So they decided, I guess, to grab my attention, they decided to post a video about Nicki Minaj, and I believe she's also a Caribbean rapper that may be aware of my situation because she sang a song called She Met a Guy from the Netherlands in Belgium. So my mother knows a guy that's related with the richest black guy in the world. The richest black guy in the world is a Nigerian called Dangote. So my mother knows a guy called Zankwa. My mother used to work with them in Nigerian army and is related to Zangote. So before my mother died, my mother was telling me that she reached out to that Zankwa, not knowing he had already died also. She reached out to that Zankwa to help to borrow her money because that Zonko is a rich Nigerian, he's a millionaire, and his cousin is the richest guy in the world. So when me and my mother was homeless on the street, my mother was trying to reach out to that Zonko to send her money because they've been friends since she was in the Nigerian army in the 1970s. So so that Zonko used to go to Belgium to import cars. He was a retired Nigerian army. And so I guess the U.S. immigration put me on surveillance, FBI, and all my information got leaked to the media here in America and to the musicians. So I believe that Nicki Minaj was singing about me, saying she met a guy, an African guy in Belgium, and it's from the motherland, and I believe that song was about me. So, So I believe this Charlemagne must have put this video to get my attention, and that was the first thing I clicked on. I said Nicki Minaj, you know, video today, 12 hours ago. I wasn't able to listen to the Breakfast Club because all night I was awake. Guys, I've been trying to send this video to you. I've been bragged, and I was just walking around. I got so tired, I couldn't get to the phone booth. So I've been awake all night, really. I tried to sleep on the train a little bit, And that was the first thing they mentioned on the Breakfast Club, that, arrest. We can't rest, you know. I think about using another to talk about me. So let me first play the video. This morning, October 21, 2025, they were using the word arrest, but they were talking about we can't rest, arrest. I think they were using Nando, and so I could decode it or something. So they said in the hip hop community they use a lot of code to talk.
Just hilarious. With that ass out. Charlemagne the Goon. Peace to the planet. It's Tuesday. How y'all feel out there? I feel blessed, black, and highly favored. Happy to be here. Another day to serve our beautiful listeners. What is happening? Good morning. God is so good, man. Yes. Oh my God. It's the holiday season too. Don't get it twisted.
Yes. What?
It's the holiday season.
Oh yeah, holiday season. Absolutely.
Yes, it's been the holiday season. It's been the holiday season since October.
Nice. You got
right
some.
after Labor Day.
You got some rest.
Who?
Yeah.
Always get rest.
Nah, no you don't.
That's a lie.
No.
I ain't like yo. I don't be staying
No.
social media for no reason.
Don't project. I ain't saying I be staying up scrolling on nothing, but I'm saying it's a difference from when you get like some good sleep until you had like a couple hours or maybe whatever you went to sleep watching or scrolling and seeing.
That's not true.
Spills over into the next morning. How you doing, Envy?
I'm good, man. Salute to. I was up.
So that could have been, Nando they were talking about they couldn't sleep, rest and stuff. So they were trying to get me arrested yesterday, the Black American gang, And then another topic they took on also seems like an Nando to me, about Nicki Minaj.
Hello, cool babe, big string bean, asparagus shorty. What's happening?
Yes, listen. Shout out to Harlem's Fashion Row, and this is a black designer. Her name is Andrea. That's one thing you always do. Black designers, especially black women designers, but all across the board. Yeah, Harlem Fashion Row. They've been hooking me up. We're doing something with Foot Locker. We got a collab. This is a part of it.
So they were mentioning about fashion. So the police said that Eric Carlson should be arresting homeless. I'm wearing mismatched shoes because one of my shoes broke and this other shoe don't fit me. So I guess this may be their Nando. She said they want to fashion arrest me. They started the show with rest, And I'm wearing mismatched shoes, and they said the police should arrest me. I can't should arrest me homeless because the other pair of this tore into pieces. So the real shoe that fits me is the size 13 shoes. I wear size 13, but the size 13 shoe, tore into pieces. So tore into pieces from wearing it around so much, and I couldn't find it. So I can't afford to buy another shoe. So that's why I'm wearing mismatch. Somebody gave me this shoe. It was a Spanish guy that gave me this shoe, but it's not size 13. So it doesn't really fit into my legs very good. So I have to wear it, halfway, and it's very painful. I really wear size 13. So some black Americans spotted that I'm wearing misfit shoes, and they were trying to get me arrested yesterday. And that's why I believe they started the show today focusing on fashion, black fashion. So they said that the police should be fashion arresting. So this Eric Adam has turned the police to a lynch mob. They should be fashion arresting people for being too poor. And because people like me don't want to go to a store to steal a shoe, and the police have been surrounding me, and they believe they can just arrest me. Okay, the person was wearing. They thought the person was delusional, doesn't know the right shoe to wear, So, so it's a bit. They can just frame me up. You know, so this is very serious. The black American gang trying to arrest me yesterday. This is actually size 12 and my best size is 13. Right, I can still manage a size 12. You know, I wore it so long, it tore into pieces. So somebody gave me a new pair of shoes, but this doesn't fit good and it's very painful. It's like 11. It doesn't fit me good. You know, it doesn't fit me good. The USA 11. You know, I need a 13, and because I can't afford it, the people trying to mob me. Under this, I got you know, incitement of violence against people like Jordan Neely, whereby he says, you know, he was complaining. Jordan Neely was complaining also that people have been treating him very hostile lately. As soon as I got him, became mayor, and the white guy creeped up behind him and choked him dead while he was complaining. So I guess this is why they were talking about fashion and on the Charlemagne show, and they were saying it's that season of the year again. So I believe these black Americans and said, you know, we decided to prank this person and kill them as a prank because it's Halloween season. You know, and we thought this person had been into a prank, and they got my mother's daughter to testify that maybe I'm into Halloween pranks also. I guess they believe they can kill me and just argue for clemency. You know, maybe they thought I was just pranking with my shoes also, trying to look like a demon or whatever, and tried to get me killed by the police. You know, it's a prank also. You know, I guess this is why they were mentioning, you know, things about it's the holiday season and fashion, black fashion.
Reading with the fans.
Yeah, and because there, yes, that's what I think. Now there's my second theory here is when we asked this question about artists that came from Gucci's camp not showing him love. Let's take a listen.
I was super embarrassed.
And they're featuring. I was misdiagnosed as in 2019 when the police arrested me. Also, they misdiagnosed me as schizophrenic and bipolar. And now they're featuring a black American who says he's not been diagnosed as schizophrenic and bipolar. Also, like, well, you know. So why does all this stuff have to echo events happening in my life also? So this seems purposeful, you know. And you know. So I'm trying to see if there's other stuff I could quickly scroll by and address. There was so, you know, yeah, this is the Gucci man diagnosed with bipolar and schizophrenia. The same thing they misdiagnosed me with. Yes, I think I'm not saying this Gucci man is lying about his own diagnosis, but you know. So I guess my mother's daughter could claim, yeah, we intentionally set those people up to arrest this person because we think this person is crazy also, and it was an intervention, which my mother's daughter would pretend like they were doing for my mother and killed her in 2015, and I believe you can just hide under the color of law to kill someone, act in a manner dangerous to somebody, endanger somebody's life, and violate New York law, and try to game the system. You know, they're trying to make her look like she may be crazy also, and her family members like just got her arrested. This Nicki Minaj. I guess they're just trying to expose what is happening. They said a lot of the people being framed up as mentally ill get abused a lot in Oklahoma. There's a Oklahoma Disability Law Center also. They were saying, they try to help some of the mentally disabled people that were in a nursing home and being abused by the workers. And even though there were snitches, the juries dismissed the case. Said, that they can't take mentally retarded serious as witnesses. They say it's so easy to abuse somebody by framing them up as mentally ill in America. Even Michael Jackson's father used to say that. So when they were calling his, in 2009, when they said his son died, he came on Michael Jackson's father came on WB11. I came on WBLS rather. radio station, black radio station, and he said the same thing my mother usually say, that said the best person way to kill a black person in America is to call the person crazy, because two people that don't have rights in America are blacks and crazy people. And me being a transgender, that had a third category, because in England they used to beat gays with sticks. Like the police officer put the baton on the floor. I believe that's a threat to my life, and called gays faggots because of that. You know. So so this is what is this is what is going on. My name sounds like my name is Babatunde, but I guess we're using that Nicki Minaj as a illustration to try to reference my case also. So this is what is going on. And there's the rapper called Ice Spice, who also sang a song that you thought I was feeling you. You're just a munch, I think that song is just promoting abuses where people try to frame me up, sex extort me, try to. Because at that time, before that artist came out, I used to be on 53rd and 4th Avenue in Brooklyn, 53rd Street and 4th Avenue. And I used to just sit out there in the cold, panhandling, and I would drink real spicy chicken noodle soup, because I would get so cold a lot. I would have pneumonia a lot. I would get cold a lot, and I'll drink noodle soup, spicy noodle soup, and I would always get harassed in that neighborhood, and until they had me wrongfully arrested and put in a psych ward in 2019. They sent people to spit on me and just menace me. So I believe it was my mother's gang, my mother's daughter's gang, Paulani and Flora. They try to incite violence against me.
That's why I said I stood close to you. I was like, yo.
They try to incite violence against me.
We're gonna throw it down right now?
I
hope you do. I hope you do.
So it's just a lot of things going on.
So we have air brake where you can hit braking putts inside your house, which is super cool. But when you combine it with cutouts of other tools like their gates,
other evidences.
Never thank me for opening doors, but they ain't even thank Jesus when he died on the cross. Cause your spirit is ungrateful, bitches is so hateful, I remain a staple. My career's been a pink print. When I retire, tell them think pink.
They get mixed with their chances, man. Yo, I got hyped when I started here in the USA.
So there's a whole lot going on.
Fill up, baby, fill on me. Pull up if you're feeling lonely.
So I have to find some of the songs on here. I'm scrolling for further evidence. And there's a lot of destruction.
So at the end of the day,
But the fact that Nicki Minaj referenced the lyrics that she met an African from the motherland in Belgium, and I believe that lyrics
yo, then somebody ran my name and was like, yo,
was referencing, and I believe that lyric was referencing
that was tough.
my mother Norman,
That shit was mad funny, bro.
and Nigerian called Zankwa.
I was waiting for it, bro. I was waiting.
They used to go to Belgium to import cars to sell in Nigeria. Yeah. So, I'm seeking justice. I can't really find out the evidence right now. This is so impromptu. I'm seeking justice. I would like, justice in court, and for members of the public watching my video, please, I would like non-conditional humanitarian assistance, donation to my Cash App, NYC Homeless. And if you're going to donate to me in person, please let it be non-conditional humanitarian assistance also. I'm not looking for marriage or to be in any kind of cult or I'm not looking to be a member of any cult, whether sexual or religious. And there's a pastor on Instagram that said, if you're a Christian, all your money belongs to the church. I'm a Christian. I don't subscribe to that doctrine. My money is my money, and my money doesn't belong to any church. And in case I'm killed, nobody should make a movie about me. I value my privacy, and nobody would know my life. I'm not very open to people like that, so unless I'm alive and participate in the movie from the beginning to the end, nobody should do a movie or book or a documentary about me. And to be an abuse of a corpse, under the right of sepulchre, should not follow somebody's wish in case somebody dies. And no family member or friend should inherit anything from my estate. Under the right of sepulchre, to be an abuse of a corpse, not to follow somebody's wish. My mother's brothers were very abusive to her. One of them filed a green card for her in 1998, and she came here, and my mother said that Bolani wasn't giving her food, so my mother had to flee to come to New York. She ended up in a shelter. Somebody almost stabbed her to death in a shelter in Brooklyn until she, I said her daughters were very mean to her in 1998. And also when my mother's daughter filed a green card for my mother, she didn't ensure that I, as a child, would be able to accompany my mother here. That green card caused my mother to separate from me, because they said under U.S. law, the immigration wasn't letting children come with their parent. And that what I could have done was to apply for emergency visa for me called humanitarian visa, humanitarian parole. But she didn't really care about me. When she filed a green card for my mother, I was still like 14 years old. She first filed it in 1995. I was like 14, and at that time she could have filed a humanitarian parole papers, and she didn't care about where I would be. And so me and my mother was separated, which is child abuse. You can't encourage a parent to abandon their 14-year-old child. That daughter was 21 years old. So she caused me to be in this situation at Bolanle. And then she framed me up. She and her sister framed me up in 2000. I had an immigration court case here in 2001. So my mother went and dumped me in Pennsylvania. Because at that time we were homeless, staying in a hotel. The landlord didn't want us in the room we rented around that 2001 and evicted us wrongfully in 2001. So me and my mother was staying in a hotel on Staten Island down. Staten Island is across the river from here down the street. So we're staying in a Richmond hotel. And so my mother tricked me, because the daughters didn't want to help her buy a house. Because it was very hard for us to find a room to rent. Because the landlords were saying they don't want two people, they only want one person. So both our daughters had good credit. That Bolanle had a house also. So my mother was telling that Bolanle that, look, I'm having an immigration case, and my mother also was a green card, and someone has a green card, you, the U.S. citizen that sponsored them, are supposed to take care of the person. So my mother was telling that Bolanle that I was still under 21, that Bolanle should help my mother buy a house. Because my mother was working, but she wasn't making enough money. And that Bolanle was working, she didn't have any child. And she has a house. And my mother was like trying to get that Bolanle to even take a loan, so that me and my mother can buy a house, go sign. And that Bolanle wasn't interested. I was under 21 and under U.S. immigration law. Under 21 is still a minor child. And if you sponsor a parent to come to America and the parent has a minor child, you're responsible for the minor child also. Because once you sponsor someone to come on a green card, you're supposed to take care of them and the child. So I arrived here, I was still under 21. I had an immigration case in 2001 here. So my mother went and dumped me in Pittsburgh. She concocted that plan with her daughters, because she couldn't find a place to rent, and her daughters wouldn't help her buy a house, even though they were all working on good credit. So they concocted a plan to come dump me in Pennsylvania, and then they will frame me up as crazy and lock me up in the psych ward. And then they feel the immigration can then come pick me up in the psychiatric hospital and deport me from there. So my mother, Bolanle, and Flora schemed against me in 2001. So my mother tricked me that I should follow her to Pennsylvania. We were in a hotel in Pennsylvania, that she needed to get some document, because she was trying to apply for U.S. citizenship. And that she needed some documents. She left over in Pennsylvania. And so I went with her on the Greyhound. We went to Pennsylvania together. I didn't even take my clothes. I left everything in the hotel. I thought it was going to be a quick visit. That's when they were going to return. So when we got to Pennsylvania, I saw my mother getting in a red car that Flora owned. So I got in the red car also, and that Flora kicked me out of the car and ran me over with the car and sped away. So I was on the floor in Pittsburgh, in Industry Street, in front of 636 Industry Street, Pittsburgh, PA 15210. And it was like the hood. So a lot of the black Americans came out and they were watching. Is this a movie? Like, what is going on? How come this person hit this person with a car? And I was on the floor, rolling in pain, and sped away. So Bolanle came out of the house, 636 Industry Street, and called the police. Said I was attacking them and they didn't put assistance. So the police arrived, At that time, Diallo had just been killed, and that Bolanle was monitoring the story of Diallo, killed in 1999, and she was saying the police in America can easily kill a black person, and said I should be careful around the police in America like that Diallo. And she was monitoring the case, and she saw the Diallo family got money. I think that's what inspired her to try to get me killed, because she always plays the lottery then. And she even tells me that, because I tell her sometimes I dream, I see lottery numbers, and she told me if I ever see a lottery number, I should tell her, she's trying to win lottery. So she was trying to use me for ghetto lottery, which in the American hood, some blacks or some people in the hood will try to get the police to arrest or kill and make money. So she in the hood in Pennsylvania, 636 Industry Street, our older sister Flora ran me over with a car, and I was wriggling in pain on the floor. And then Bolani called the police and framed me up. That was the one attacking them. And the police came with, with their multiple police arrived, and they took me away into the psychiatric hospital, Mercy Hospital in downtown Pittsburgh. I had a case here in New York, Federal Plaza, 2001. So they took me and locked me up in the psychiatric hospital. Said I was violent, I had a weapon, I was about to kill my mother's daughters, So they locked me up in the psychiatric hospital, and they were monitoring me. So I told the hospital that I have a court case in New York. They have to let me go, otherwise I'll be ordered deported. The judge name is Anit Elston, 12th floor, Federal Plaza here. And so the hospital spoke with my mother's daughter Bolani on the phone. That is it true that your father green card for your mother, and the mother came here, but the U.S. immigration said children are not allowed with parents, and so as a result, your brother, I was a boy, I'm now a girl, your brother is now as an immigration case, and that Bolani denied everything. So I don't have an immigration case, I'm just hallucinating, that I was delusional. So the hospital told me, they spoke with my sister and Bolani, and she said I'm just hallucinating, I don't have any court case. So I told the hospital they should hold on, and I went to the phone booth in the hospital, and I made a phone call to New York. And even though so as I was calling, my lawyer didn't pick up right away. So the doctor came and told me, we don't understand, you're crazy. You don't have any court case, get off the phone. We need to increase the dosage of a medication. You're just imagining you have a case. I said, please, let me make a phone call again to my lawyer. And they were going to rough handle me that, you're just crazy. Stop bothering people on the phone. Your mother's daughter said, we don't want you using the phone to calling strangers. And, I said, we have to get you off the phone. I said, please let me call my lawyer. My lawyer's name is DePato. Said, no, you can't use the phone anymore. The person's not answering. We think you're just bothering strangers. You don't have a lawyer. You don't have an immigration case. And I said, let me try one more time. And I called again, and then he answered the phone. I said, can you please talk with the doctor? They're surrounding me on the phone booth. And my lawyer DePato talked with the doctor. Said, this person's not crazy. They have a court case. Please release them. They can come for the court case. It's in a few days, and if they don't show up, the immigration judge will order them deported. So, the hospital, they look like a fool. They said, we're so sorry. So they told them they released me. Instead of putting me in a shelter, they told me to go with my mother's daughter, and they said they tell her not to do that again. Instead of arresting her for a false report to the police, in 2001, so I came back to New York, and I stopped talking with her since 2001. 14 years later, she did it to my mother. It was poisoning. My mother went back there to Pennsylvania to go stay with the daughters because the police has taken her home, killed her Regana while it was helping us. Like a bad karma. So my mother went back there, and I said her daughter was feeding her drugs to kill her because she was trying to use my mother for ghetto lottery. So my mother said, anytime she eats the food from this Bolani, she started having bloody diarrhea. He said that daughter was crazy, was trying to kill her, was moving with a bad gang, narcotic gang. So my mother got on the Greyhound bus in 2015, fled back to New York, and was in the hospital, Bellevue Hospital, getting treated for the heart disease. And she told the hospital she'd rather go to Israel to have a heart surgery because she was afraid of doing the surgery here in America because her first husband died in a British hospital. He had graduated from Oxford University in England and went to the British hospital for heart disease and died. So my mom would rather do this. She'd rather do the surgery in Israel. She wanted to pray first. I had already told the Brooklyn Federal Court that as she was about to travel to Israel when the police invaded our home and seized our U.S. passport. So she tried to get an order from the Brooklyn Federal Court to get the police to allow us access back to the house. But the federal courts in Brooklyn said it didn't have jurisdiction. It's a housing matter. She should go to a housing court mistakenly. But the case is still in the courts, in the PESA. My mother's name is spelled E-S-T-H-E-R-S, Esther, and the last name is spelled Olabopo. It's spelled O-L-A-B-O-P-O. So my mother wasn't crazy. She just didn't want to have surgery done in America. She wants to have it done in Israel. And then the daughters came into the hospital and framed up as crazy. Said that the hospital shouldn't release her to go to Israel they should lock her up in the psych ward instead. So they were just trying to get my mother to be angry and set up a forced arrest situation so it could turn violent so the hospital can beat my mother dead, because they must have found at that hospital they beat up black patient. There was a black American homeless that put it online that they beat him up in that hospital and framed him up as crazy and stabbed them with an injection, like ketamine, which causes heart attack. So my mother's daughters must have researched that hospital. Said they were researching my court papers online and said they were very jealous I was about to win money for the police taking my home, and said they wanted to be able to get a hold of that money. And they believed framing my mother up as crazy and getting guardianship over my mother would let them have access over the lawsuit money, at least the portion that would go to my mother. And and I believe I won't be able to survive if they lock my mother up, because my mother was the one giving me money, to survive, So they did that to hurt me, and my mother died in the process. And I believe the hospital must have stabbed my mother with that ketamine injection, because my mother's face in there was like, she had a place of shock. And my mother always tells me that if somebody dies, watch the face of the person. If the person died peacefully, it will be like they're sleeping. But if they have a horror look on their face when they die, it means they died a violent death. And my mother had a horror look on her face. When she died, they showed me the picture. They wouldn't let me see her body. I wanted to pray for her. Because there was a pastor in Nigeria then that said God told them in 2015 that some people would die and God would raise them up. And he did a prayer. His name is Prophet Joshua. He did a prayer on YouTube and said, if somebody dies, he said, go pray that prayer on YouTube and the person will wake up. So I went to Bellevue Hospital. I told them I want to pray the prayer. They told me they'd already moved my mother's body to the medical examiner's office. So I went to the medical examiner's office and they were making fun of me. Some of the black American security guy was like saying Michael Jackson is here to see the mother. And then they told me I can't see her. They won't show me a picture. So I don't know if that was gang related. Even my mother's daughter, didn't want her to resurrect back to life. And they quickly went and got her body from the medical examiner's office and took her to New Jersey to bury her in New Jersey, in a town there, because they know I won't be able to get to New Jersey because I don't have money. I'm homeless, and they know I really don't know how to travel in America. I don't really know how to travel by myself that well in America. And my daughters kidnapped my mother's body and buried her in New Jersey, because I told them I want to go pray for her. I told them that the medical examiner wouldn't let me pray for my mother, and I told them I was going to try to get a court order to release her body to me so I could pray for her. And they went and snatched her corpse behind my back and took her to Jersey and buried her so I wouldn't be able to pray for her. So that shows they purposefully, try to get her not to wake up. Because the Nigerian prophet in 2015 said 2015 is a year of resurrection, and God says some people are going to die but they're going to wake up, and pray the prayer on YouTube. Say everyone should go and pray that prayer on any dead corpse. And he said God said there's a morning, so it's going to be a good morning here. Good things are going to be happening in the morning. My mother died early in the morning as they were trying to transfer to a cycle. I said, whatever you want to do, say do it in the morning. Say God said it's going to, whatever you want to do, if you do it in the morning, it's going to be successful. So said they were trying to transfer my mother's daughter said they went to the hospital in the morning, and they were trying to transfer my mother into the psych ward in the morning, and my mother died in the process. And my mother was telling me around the time their daughters wanted her dead. So since then they've been attacking me early in the morning, hoping they will have the same luck. So my mother, as a gang, early in the morning, they attacked me early in the morning from like 12 a.m. to like 12 midnight to 12 afternoon. In the train station, the gang would surround me, try to stab me. I also have the janitors in the Staten Island Ferry. I always use the bathroom late at night, also early in the morning, because I have diarrhea. So they'll call the police on me. And then early in the morning, I beg for money around the Staten Island Ferry neighborhood, Manhattan Terminal. And my mother's daughter has been showing up there. And soon after that, the black American guys wants to kill me early in the morning to see if they can, reenact that luck. Because the Nigerian prophet in 2015 said God told them things you do early in the morning is going to be successful. And says keep saying good morning to everyone. So some people make fun of me and say good morning to me You know, even people that patrol, the janitors, you know, in the stand-up showering. They call the police up and arrest me, and anytime they see me in the morning, sometimes they say me good morning. You know, even though they damn call the police on me to harass me. You know, just to make fun of my dead mother. So please, I'm a victim of religious cult attack, whereby my mother's daughters are using a religious type, ritual, because they were able to kill my mother in the morning, and my mother said they were into an inheritance scam, and they stole all my mother's property after they killed her, because the immigration gave me 2 green cards after my case was over here in court. In 2008, they gave me 2 green cards mistakenly. My mother kept one for me, and I kept one for myself. And then when they killed my mother in 2015, they stole that green card. I took it to Pennsylvania. And the other green card I had for myself in 2019, the police arrested me and stole that green card. So I can't prove my status. I'm totally stuck. You know, I couldn't even get my tax refund for stimulus check, $3,000 during COVID, because I didn't have a mailing address. I didn't have an ID anymore. The police had taken my ID in 2019, and they arrested me and locked me up. So this is what I'm going through. You know, so this is very serious. I beseech you that have been bribed by House of Prosecutor to prosecute this gang. They always try to kill me early morning hours from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. Anywhere they see me in the train, you know, they try to attack me with a knife, send kids to attack me. Even as a black American MTA worker is the union boss. His name is Tramel Thompson. He said he has information that some kids are going to kill MTA customers. They hijack trains at Moan also, you know. And some days ago I was on the train, some kids came on the train near one. As soon as I got on 59th Street, they got off soon after that. And they got off around 135th Street. And they were screaming, yelling, coming towards me and telling me they were high on drugs. And I thought they were about to lynch me. There's a girl from Bangladesh, and her mother said when she came here from Bangladesh, the kids in school would make fun of her because she has an accent. And one day she was on a 7 train, and the mother believed those kids must have threw her on the train track. And the police called. The mother said her daughter was found on the train track dead as she was trying to return home from school. You know, so I'm being attacked on the train. There's hiring little kids to jump me. Sometimes, you know, there was a day recently, I was in Brooklyn. My cart, the tire broke down. And I put my cart near the train station, 86th Street and 4th Avenue. And I went to the store to buy a new cart. By the time I got back, the kid pushed my cart on towards the crosswalk so people can trample over my cart. You know, and to make it look like I'm just a crazy person. I believe it was on Friday, October 17, 2025, around 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. You know, the police camera was recording me. And, you know, and like a day later, you know, a black American MTA worker saw me in that area and called me motherfucker. You know, and I got on the train, and while I was on the train, some black American kids came on the train outside. They were yelling at me, telling me they were high on drugs, and they were acting like about to mob lynch me on the train. They got on the train after 59th Street on the 2 train and got off at 135th Street. I was so scared for my life, and they were recording me. And there's this black American basketball player called Damian Lillard. You know, there was a time I got jumped. As soon as Eric Adams was campaigning to become mayor in 2021, and he won the election in December, you know, and then soon after that, around December, I was near the basketball stadium in Atlantic Avenue, near the basketball stadium. I was trying to, I just bought a singular wireless phone, simple mobile phone. You know, I believe that's the name of the phone, from Target store, you know, and I tried to connect it, but the simple mobile, they told me that Target store blocked me from connecting the phone. And I noticed every time I go to that Target store, the black American workers there will be making fun of me, say I stink, call the police on me. And, you know, and they always try, at least some of them are gang members, and they believe if they can get me killed by the police, then the black American gang will inherit all my money, potential money from U.S. immigration, and get my mother's daughter to sue and share among the gang members. So I bought a simple mobile phone from the Target store around December 2021, and I was trying to, and I told the Target store to help me activate it. And the black American guy told me, you know, we're about to close, you know, go activate it yourself. And he told me it's already released the block on the phone, and I paid him money. He gave me a receipt. You know, so I was by this Target store using the phone kiosk on Atlantic Avenue near the Net Stadium, Barclays Stadium. You know, so I was calling Simple Mobile. I was like, look, I've been trying to connect my phone, activated. I have the activator code. I have the minutes card on my phone. I'm trying to activate the minutes, and it's telling me my phone can't be activated. So the customer service representative told me, yeah, Target store put a block on your phone. I'm like, why would they do that? He said, he said they have to, they should have activated your phone. He said they didn't activate your phone. You know, and as I was talking, all of a sudden, I felt some girls, high school kids, bump into me. I said, why did y'all bump into me? What's wrong with you? And they started kicking me, beating me up. You know, and then some of them a guy was recording as they were beating me up. So I was calling them as they were beating me up, and I noticed they were using their move to kick me. My mother's daughter, Bolanle, my mother says she knows how to kick people. And when my mother brought to Nigeria in 1989, 88, she kicked my mother, said she doesn't want to live in Nigeria. So my mother arranged with a white family to take her in, she and her other sister Flora. And as soon as she got to America, she was kicking the white family also, and they got her arrested and put her in juvenile. So my mother said she learned how to kick people in school. In the Bronx, they were teaching her self-defense, and since then she learned how to kick people. So they had some black Americans senior kick. As I was talking on the phone, I guess they didn't want me. They told the gang, the Target store gang, black American gang that work in Target store, to not activate my phone for me. I don't know why they didn't want me to have a phone, you know. And because I always use my phone to call lawyers. There was a day in Harlem, you know, I was at the Morningside Park in Harlem, calling a lawyer. I said, my mother's daughter, I've just killed my mother. You know, it was on 125th Street near the A train station in Harlem. You know, because anytime I go to my, I had a storage there called Extra Space Storage, and I used to go to my storage and call lawyers in my storage because it's always cold outside. So while going through my stuff in the storage said you have to leave your door open, you can't close the door on yourself. So I would leave my door to my storage open, and my storage was a big room. So I would go inside the storage while going through my stuff. I'd be calling lawyers. And then, you know, then I would notice gang members start coming to the storage. Say, keep your door locked. Your door is blocking the way. I said, there's so many passageways in a storage. The storage has so many passageways. I said, and they would try to jump me. Would distract me from calling lawyers. I know anytime I try to call a lawyer to help me file a lawsuit against my mother's daughters for killing my mother and stealing my green card and my property that my mother was holding for me in that storage. You know, people would try to jump me. So, and I noticed that with the Extra Space Storage, they disabled the passcode so anybody can come into the storage without there being a trace. Because usually you need a passcode to enter the storage facility, otherwise you can't get into the storage facility without a passcode. But I noticed the Extra Space Storage in Harlem, near 126th Street, disabled the passcode so anybody can just come in. So they were doing that so people can come and jump in and run away without the police knowing who they are, because without any passcode, you know, it's very hard for the police. So people will try to jump me because I'll go inside my storage and I'll be making phone calls to lawyers, you know, say I need a lawyer. My mother just got killed, her daughter was killed at Bellevue Hospital, and people started jumping me inside the storage. So because of that, I would leave all my belongings inside the storage, you know, and lock the door to the storage. I'm going to the park, Morningside Park on 125th Street near the A train station, to make a phone call to lawyers. And one day I was sitting down on a chair talking to lawyers, say hello, you know, my mother's daughter just killed my mother. All of a sudden I felt somebody hit me in the head with something like a baseball bat, like whack, you know. I was like, and I started seeing stars. I was, you know, and I saw some kids, you know, running around laughing and running away. You know, so I called 911. I said somebody just hit me from the back of the head, like they're trying to let me have a concussion so I won't be able to remember anything. They're trying to make me brain dead. I said, I don't know if it was a baseball pad. You know, I called 911 and one of the kids went behind. You know, he was a chubby kid. He was a black American kid. He went up there, so I was recording him with my phone. I said, why did you do that? And so he said, I didn't do it. It was my friends that did it. So I was recording him, you know, but when the police came, he had run away also. So I showed the police this video, and I said, I interviewed him, and I saved the video into my Google Drive. It's in my Google Drive now. You know, and I said, you know, this kid, you know, and a bunch of kids hit me in my head. I don't know what they had in their head. It's like they had a stick or something. I said I was seeing stars, you know. I said they all ran away, but they told me they go. One of them waited behind and told me they go to a school near the park. And I told them, look, I have the video of the one of the kids that waited behind. I took this video. I interviewed them. I said, please go to the school and arrest them. And the police said, no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to make a police report. I said, stay away from this park. You know, it's a very dangerous place. Things like this will continue to happen to you. Say, this park is not safe. I'm like, it's afternoon time. Say, no, it's not safe in the afternoon. It's not safe in the morning. Stop coming here, period. You know, so I stopped showing up at the park. They said, this park is controlled by criminals and is reserved for criminals. You know, say, you are the problem. You stop coming here so they don't target you. And as soon as the police come and require everything, so it doesn't matter. So they were telling me that Harlem Park is reserved for criminals and you stay away. I was like, wow. You know, so I stopped going to that park. You know, and by 2021, Eric Adams was elected mayor. So I went, you know, and I noticed when the police arrested me in 2019, they stole all my phones. So I really didn't have any phone with minutes anymore. I had like one phone left with minutes on it. So I went but that phone was badly damaged. So I went and bought a new phone in Target store. Because when the police knocked me down in 2019, the phone screen slammed on the floor and crashed. So I went and got a new phone in Target store, and I was trying to connect it. Because I always use my phone to call lawyers to report my mother's daughters, and all the lawyers would tell me we're not interested in the case. This is how to prove somebody's crazy or not. I'm like, that's not hard to prove. I said, there's evidence that my mother wanted to travel to Israel. She told the Brooklyn Federal Court that she was trying to go to Israel to get her surgery done. And she filed court papers in 2010, as soon as the police took her home on Staten Island. Said the police seized her home, and she's trying to get back into the home to get her U.S. passport out to go to Israel. And she needs the court order to get us back into the home. So they unlawfully seized her home. And the Brooklyn court said the case should be handled by the housing court. You know, that it looks like a landlord eviction case. You know, and they mistakenly ruled like that. But the case is still in Pacer. So like a few years later, my mother had to postpone the surgery because she was still trying to go to Israel. You know, and so she told the Bellevue Hospital that she's still trying to go to Israel to get the surgery done. And it was due to the police, you know, that's why she has postponed the surgery. And they said the kind of surgery she needed also, it's not really necessary. It's just I forgot the medical term. It's elective surgery. And even the U.S. government has been going after doctors that perform that surgery. It's called they put a catheter in the heart, but they said that catheter for older people always gives them medical complication. They said my mother had a plague in her heart, and they were going to put a catheter in her heart, but they said that catheter has been causing complication in older people. They say it's better if the older person to give the person that there's drugs that could clear the plague, you know, better than the catheter. So the U.S. government the U.S. Justice Department has been suing the hospitals that were forcing older people to grab that catheter. So my mother said she wanted to go for a second medical opinion to see if that catheter is needed, and if needed, she would do it in Israel. So I told said no, they should force her to do it here in New York, you know, and lock her up and falsely diagnose her as crazy. You know, and my mother has been reading medical journals saying that operation is not necessary. And before she has it done, she wants to go pray in Israel first. You know, and my mother wasn't crazy, and they knew she wasn't crazy. You know, and my mother passed the mental health test. You know, the address was just trying to provoke my mother. Said they've been trying to provoke her while she was living with them in Pennsylvania. Say one of her daughter's husband, Flora's husband, I knew they would try to punch my mother. You know, and told her to get out of the house. You know, and when they called the police went to arrest him. Said member of the U.S. Army. Then she moved over to another daughter's house, Polanyi. So that one would leave snow all over the floor. She has her own house, so that during the snow, so my mother could trip and fall on the snow. Because they say elderly people, when they trip and fall, they sometimes die. I guess if she doesn't die, she wants to whack my mother in the head with a stick so she'll die and blame it on the snowfall. They say a white guy did that to his wife, put traps on the floor, and the wife fell down the staircase. And when she didn't die quickly enough, he hit her with a blunt object and went and make an insurance claim, life insurance policy claim. So my mother was saying that daughter was also telling her that she has to leave the house, that she doesn't want to live with her anymore. You know, and we're just trying to put my mother in a panic because my mother doesn't have anywhere to stay. So we're just trying to get my mother to panic. You know, so my mother says she always sleeps with a knife underneath her pillow because she doesn't want her daughter to attack her late at night. And then that daughter was trying to, that daughter started poisoning her food because they said that daughter was saying she's fed up with my mother, she doesn't want my mother to be in the house anymore. And gave her a notice of eviction and was feeding her. And the FBI was listening to the phone call my mother was telling me, you know, because I've been under immigration surveillance since 2000, you know, so the FBI was listening to my phone call as my mother was telling me that Polanyi gave her a notice of eviction, that she has to leave, and my mother says she doesn't have anywhere to go, so that's why she's still there. And but my mother said that I started poisoning her to kill her, to force her out. You know, and so my mother couldn't take it anymore. The poison was triggering my mother to have a heart attack. So my mother got on the Greyhound bus to come to New York to check herself in the hospital. And while she was on the Greyhound bus on May 13, 2015, she said that she told the bus to pull over because the poison her daughter gave her was giving her bloody diarrhea and also congestion of her heart. So I think my mother used the credit card to get that into that Greyhound bus. You know, so that driver of the Greyhound bus can be traced through that ticket. And even people on that Greyhound bus with my mother will remember the bus pulled over between New Jersey and Pennsylvania. But my mother was scared that the ambulance may take her back to Pennsylvania, so she told the bus to keep driving and not to wait for the ambulance anymore. As soon as she got to Greyhound Station on 42nd Street, and they then took her to another hospital, and they transferred her wrongfully to Bellevue. Because at that time there was Ebola virus in 2015, and the private hospital I suspect they took her to near the Greyhound Station would be St. Luke's Hospital, a Jewish hospital. So I guess they didn't want African patients. A lot of Africans said the private hospitals were shipping them to Bellevue Hospital, thinking if any African is sick, they may have Ebola, and they believe the government should better handle the liability because they didn't want African patients to infect the other patients with Ebola. So they pushed my mother on a violation of EMTALA law, emergency medical travel law. That said in the past they would dump, the private hospital would always dump blacks into the government hospitals because the government, a lot of blacks are not insured, or the insurance doesn't pay all the charges. And I used to go to that St. Luke's Hospital also. And one day a Jamaican woman came to that hospital, and that Jamaican woman was arguing that they could have just transferred her to a government hospital, that she can't afford the bill. So I guess that's why that St. Luke's Hospital decided to ship my mother to Bellevue Hospital. Because as I was in the emergency room, I overheard a Jamaican woman come into the emergency room. She was arguing with the doctor or with the billing office in that St. Luke's Hospital, saying that they could have just shipped her to a government hospital, that hospital is too expensive, the insurance, she can't cope it. So I think that hospital may have decided to be mass shipping black people since that time, to be mass shipping black people from St. Luke's Hospital to Bellevue Hospital. So my mother was a victim of the mass shipment. So my mother was having terrible luck. they shipped her to Bellevue Hospital, and her daughters came to that Bellevue Hospital and told the hospital to lock her up. I think a private hospital may have not locked my mother up in the psych ward because they would have been worried that my mother wouldn't be able to pay the co-pay for a psychiatric stay. So they would have been not, but Bellevue Hospital is a government hospital. They didn't care, if you don't pay, the government will pay it. So my mother was just out of luck that a Jamaican woman, I overheard that Jamaican woman was arguing with the bill. I went to St. Luke's Hospital like a year before that, before my mother was killed. I went to Bellevue in 2014, and I overheard, around 2014, I overheard, so they decided to station their police around me, The protesters have left. I don't know why they still station their police around me like I'm a troublemaker for using the phone. I'm just trying to contact you at the Bragg office to post videos online, and I'm being intimidated from seeking justice. So I'm still under the FBI surveillance, so anytime I'm trying to report the police, like my friend Uganda was trying to help against the police when I check in there. And they've been stationing their police around me and dropping bats on the floor, baiting. So back to what I was saying. So this is their license plate number. So back to what I was saying. In 2014 or thereabout, I overheard St. Luke's Hospital, Roosevelt, near the ground station, a Jamaican woman saying they should have just sent her to a government hospital, that she doesn't want to co-pay. The co-pay is too much. So I believe that hospital may have started a policy of violating MTALA law, which is a federal law that says you can't just ship black patients to a government hospital because you're worried they won't be able to pay. So I believe my mother was a victim of that mass shipment. She would have been better off in St. Luke's Hospital, because St. Luke's Hospital wouldn't have wanted to lock my mother up in a psych ward, because they would have been afraid that Medicare may not cover extensive psych stay, and the co-pay, she won't be able to afford it, so my mother was like out of luck, that she was a victim of a criminal policy by St. Luke's, and under the Alien Tort Act, it's been 10 years now that my mother was killed. The Alien Tort Act gives 10 years statute of limitation, extended by the COVID extension by Como. I think Como extended lawsuit by 8 months. So my mother was killed in May 2015. Now it's October 2025. So there's a 10-month or 8-month extension in which all the courthouses was closed for COVID from 2020 in 2020. So there was an 8-month statute of limitation extension. So that St. Luke's Hospital, I'm a witness that they may have started a policy of mass dumping black patients into government hospitals because of what a Jamaican woman did, and said she can't afford the co-pay. They should have just moved her to a government hospital instead of admitted her into that St. Luke's Hospital. So the hospital decided to dump my mother in the Bellevue Hospital, I guess due to the Ebola. They said during the Ebola also, a lot of Africans were complaining the private hospital was dumping them in Bellevue Hospital. They were scared Africans had Ebola and they didn't want to deal with the liability. And my mother didn't travel abroad for almost a decade, so she wasn't at risk for Ebola. So in Bellevue Hospital, our daughter was able to frame her up as crazy and got her locked up. So it's been a whole lot happening, and I've been experiencing a whole lot of intimidation and abuse, been surrounded by police and stuff, so please, I need to be put in a proper shelter where I have kitchen and private bath. It's not safe for me using common bathroom, sharing bathrooms with people, and they're sending people to jump me. My mother's daughters are part of a gang, and they try to send people to jump in the bathroom, both janitors and other civilians that come into the bathroom with me, and they harass me at the Stanley Fair where I normally go there to use the bathroom, the public bathrooms there, you know, and so we're better off with a crime victim shelter with the police surrounding me, living batons around me, and even though the protesters have left, I don't know why they're still around, surrounding me, and acting in a very intimidating manner, and so for my safety, because I have a lot of, and they said recently also, a police officer was killed. He was living in Long Island, and so a Spanish guy shot him in Queens this year, and they said the police were protesting during his funeral. The governor showed up, Oko, and they turned their back to the governor. I'm a transgender, but in gay parents I'll be considered like a bottom because I'm feminine. And so they turned their bottom as the governor. The police turned their bottom towards the governor as she was talking, and they were heckling her that she should give them power. She should give them power. And even though she could have arrested them, she had the state police with her, like 8 state police officers, and the New York State Police can arrest NYPD, and she's a lawyer. Her own child works for the FBI, and she could have had those police prosecuted for disorderly conduct, and they were heckling the governor, and they turned their bottom as the governor was facing them talking. They turned their bottom towards her, and they were heckling her while she was talking, and they were facing her with their bottom, heckling her, telling her to shut up, and said they want power, and what they meant was they want the power to mass arrest homeless people like me and kill me. And since then, she and Eric Adams has given them power to be arresting homeless. Even though the police would try to arrest me anytime I come into a train station with my belongings. They said the governor has banned strollers, that only women should have strollers. The stroller was a much more sturdy and cheaper means of transporting my stuff. I used to put all my stuff in a stroller. I used to find strollers in the garbage bin everywhere. This I buy for like $40 or so, and it doesn't last long. I have to buy a new one every 2 weeks. But a stroller I always find it dumped in the garbage everywhere. So and it could last me for 6 months. So they decided to, in order to economically damage me and to arrest me, the governor signed an order that they should arrest anybody that comes to the train station with a stroller. A stroller is not in danger unless you're a man with a child. And this is a violation of the Gay Gender Motivation Violence Act. Gender Motivated Violence Act. So it's that they trying to arrest me on the train for having a stroller. So this governor, Eric Adams, has given the police power to be arresting homeless and framing us up as crazy. I guess that's why they're lingering around me. Even though the protesters have already gone home, everybody is still lingering around me. Normally the police would have left also. But I use this phone booth because people bother me as other phone booths I use, and I feel I would be safer from the gangs that are trying to kill me if I'm near the immigration office here, because there's a camera here, and maybe the feds will be able to intervene. Maybe the gang try to jump me back and run into the Federal Plaza, for safety. Even though as an immigrant, I may not be safe in the federal immigration office. I just don't know where to hide. So please, I've been barred. I need to be put in a crime victim shelter. My mother has been killed. My friend Uganda has been killed. And I have a lot of evidence. And so I need to be put in a crime victim shelter. And also the appropriate shelter for people that are vacated is the HPD has a special shelter also. Also, the court order that the police should call the Red Cross and put you in a private hotel room if you're vacated from the basement apartment. And Eric Adams has been helping Black Americans in my situation. There was a fire in the Bronx like last year, and Eric Adams went to is the mayor of New York City. He's a Black American also, and he went to the Bronx incident of the fire and he placed the Black Americans into hotel rooms. that were being vacated due to the fire, and give them money. And even though the court order since 1990s, the Legal Aid Society filed a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit for people vacated like me from homes by the city of New York, and they should put us in a hotel room, in a special hotel room with kitchen and bath, and prioritize us for housing. And this Eric Adam doesn't want to help me, even though he knows the right procedure. He's helping his fellow Black Americans in my position. I send him videos every day. I wouldn't help him, So I'm being victimized, by this. I don't feel safe. I said the immigrations are arresting people also and deporting them wrongfully. So I don't even know where to hide. I'm not safe near the immigration office. I'm not safe on the street. And this is a terrible way for Nigerians to live, or Africans. That's the African burial ground across the street there. So a lot of the Africans died as slaves and couldn't get justice. My father came here from Nigeria in the 1970s. We used to go to school in Long Island University, and I used to live in the Bronx. And so there was a Spanish male Puerto Rican man that befriended my father, and we got my father's itinerary. And one day my father went to school. Before he came by, the Spanish male busted into my father's apartment, stole all my father's property, his clothes, his shoes, his everything. Even my father had a suitcase my father would carry to school, briefcase. So my father saw the Puerto Rican guy later with his property. So my father told him he wanted the property back. So the Puerto Rican guy pulled a knife. My father called 911, and the police wouldn't help him. That was my father got fed up and left America after that. So I've been a victim of crime since my mother brought me in 2000, and nobody would help me. Even the lawyer that that was representing me, after he saw that my mother's daughters locked me up in a psychiatric hospital in Pennsylvania, he also stopped showing up in court here. So the court ordered my case. Deported in 2001 because the lawyer wouldn't show up anymore. And I had to appeal the case by myself. So I've been victim of crime for 25 years. I like the African burial ground, all the Africans that died there without justice. I don't want to be a part of the statistics. And now my mother has a daughter, has a gang, like a narcotic gang that follow me everywhere. And they're trying to do like a religious cult killing. Because the Nigerian pastor, the late pastor Joshua, said that anything you do in the morning, God told him anything you do in the morning will be successful. So early in the morning from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. every day, on the train everywhere I go, that narcotic gang that my mother's daughter is part of always try to lynch me. And and there may be a Black American basketball player as part of this gang also. It's a rapper, Damon Lillard. And I noticed my mother daughter always says she doesn't have money, and I know she's lodged in a hotel across the street from 100 Church Street, which is the office of the Corporation Council of New York City. They represent police officers that killed civilians. And my mother stayed in a 5-star hotel. My mother's daughter Balani stayed in a 5-star hotel across the street from that 100 Church Street Corporation Council. It's called the Four Seasons. I always see her come out of that hotel, And one day she was wearing all blue. As I went to the Target store around that area, and she was pushing a baby stroller, and she was wearing all blue. This is like 2 years ago. I don't know if she's trying to tell the NYPD to join in with her gang members and kill me. And she's been lodged in that hotel across the street from the Church Street, the Corporation Council that represents, the police officers that kill civilians. I don't know if they want to get, I don't know if they're sending coded messages to each other, the city of New York and my mother's daughter gang, that, they should kill me, the police should kill me already, and give the money to them to distribute to the Black American narcotic gang. And there's a Black American basketball player who may be using his influence. His name is Damon Lillard. He works for Nike. He's been sponsored by Nike, and I've been noticing Nike have been putting ads in Penn Station, trolling me. They had a basketball player, a female basketball player, hold the ball in her hand, and was holding the ball, and they put the Nike ad says, you always lose. Why don't you try to win this time around? And he had a female holding the ball in her hand. So I guess they've been trying to lure me to give my sperm, even though I'm a female, I'm a transgender female, to give my sperm to a basketball player to produce a child. And then, and then they will kill me, and then they will hurt everything. And they said this Nike has been close with the law enforcement, and even got Avenatti, Stormy Daniels' lawyer, arrested. He was trying to start Nike because Stormy Daniels was going after Trump, and Avenatti was representing Stormy Daniels. I know Avenatti is in prison. They said Nike said he was trying to extort them for money because he was saying he was going to file a lawsuit against Nike for some fraudulent, alleged fraud. So I said Nike is close. I guess Nike is close with the law enforcement. I guess I should thank you to the law enforcement or whatever for helping them arrest Avenatti and blocking him in prison. So now this Nike has been inciting violent attacks against me, placing ads at the Penn Station, saying, insulting me. Even they hired a Greek basketball player, Ade Tokumbo, of Nigeria descent. He plays for the Greek national team. Then I hired him also, and he put an ad. I forgot the content of the ad, but it was like he was trolling me, and the ad was about. I think if I could try to guess, I don't remember now what the ad was about, but it was like about somebody's gonna get killed soon or something like that. So Nike has been sponsoring ads against me, and a Black American basketball player called Damian Lillard works for them also, I would think. And there was a time he had a shoe company. He was also selling shoes. Either he sells shoes for Nike or something. So I guess to lure me, he was putting ads on Instagram or whatever. He was doing he was posting videos on Instagram that he's very humanitarian. He likes to help homeless people. And at that time I needed shoes, so I contacted him, said if he could help me. I'm poor, and he didn't give me nothing. And it's ever since I've been noticing he's been trolling me after I sent him the message. And I noticed he's been trolling me. So there was a day, as soon as Eric Adams won the election in 2021, and I bought a phone at Target store, and I noticed the Target store, they're across the street. And I noticed the Target store, they're across the street from the Barclays Stadium. There was one day I was wearing torn shoes like this, and the Target store gave me shoe. They gave me a really expensive. I was like, oh, thank you, that's very kind of you. Because something was wrong with my shoe, and it gave me shoe. I go there to shop. I was like, okay, this is very nice of you to give me shoe, And since then, the store workers will make fun of me and try to call the police on me and say I stink. I don't know who. They went from being nice to me that time to all of a sudden to being mean to me. So I don't know if this basketball player, Damian Lillard, is involved in trying to get people to be jumping me everywhere. So that I could be killed and my mother daughter would inherit the money. I don't know what kind of relationship he has with them to get the money also from them. I noticed my mother daughter is lodged in a 5-star hotel across the street from Corporation Council that provides legal services for any NYPD that kills a civilian. And I saw my mother daughter Polana a couple of years ago. She was dressed in all blue jeans, blue top. I was pushing a baby stroller, and she was accosting me as I was coming out of the Target store. She was going in there, and she didn't say a word to me. And I was panhandling. I mistakenly asked her for money, and she just kept on walking past me, But she was dressed very expensive. After she killed my mother, she now dresses very expensive, And soon after that, there was a homeless person that normally sleeps in that area. They said some people went and choked the homeless person dead. So I've been afraid of going to that area. I still go there because there's a chair that I still sit on, but I sit there in fear for my life because I saw my mother's daughter in that area. And so I ran up that time and said there's a homeless person. It was a white guy. Somebody went and choked that homeless person dead. So I've been very afraid of my life. I don't know what that killing was about. That homeless person also panhandles like me. So this was around 2022, I've been very terrified, and then so in 2021, I was I had just bought a phone from Target store, and normally when I get a phone, I always call lawyers, and report my mother's divorce to the lawyers to help me file a lawsuit, and all the lawyers will tell me no, they're not interested in the case. So I bought a phone from Target store, and I noticed the store worker wouldn't help me activate the phone, but collected my money and, wouldn't help me put minutes on the phone. That's what I mean by that. But he told me it's already activated. I could just put the minutes on it by myself. And when I was trying to put the minutes on my phone, I noticed the Simple Mobile said your phone is no longer activated. So I was calling the Simple Mobile. That what is going on? What kind of game is this? It's close to December 2021. Eric Adams has just become mayor. He's saying once homeless people are arrested and put in a psych ward. That was why he ran for office. And so I was trying to get a lawyer to help me. I just bought a phone so I'll be able to make phone calls to lawyers. So while I was talking to Simple Mobile, they told me, no, we can't activate your phone. The records show your phone is not activated by Target store. You need to take your phone back to Target store to activate it for you. And I was arguing with Simple. I was like, I bought the phone from Target store, and they activated it in my presence. They told me all I have to do is to call you up and put the minutes there. And I said, no, your phone shows it's not activated in our system. I'm like, what kind of game are you guys playing? While I was talking, some kids surrounded me and bumped into me, and I told those kids, what is wrong with you? Why are you bumping into an adult? They were teenagers, they were all female, and they started kicking me, and there was a guy recording it. So I started recording as they were kicking me. Also, I was running, and I was calling 911. So I run across the street, and they chased me across the street near the Atlantic Avenue, Barclays Stadium. So I ran into a store across the street, and it was a white guy, the owner of the store, and I said, some kids are trying to lynch me. At that time, they were holding an iron pipe, and they were holding it in their hand, and the guy told them to go away, and they used the pipe to bash into the glass and broke the glass, and there was glass splattered all over the floor. They were high on drugs. They were like teenagers. So he called 911, I called 911, and the police came by, and the police wouldn't do a report, and he told the police he needed a police report so he can tell his insurance company to help pay for the bashed glass, and the police were winking their eye and like this, and I was recording everything. I was like, what is going on? It's 2021, I kind of just become mayor, and I was telling the police, you need the police report, and I was recording like, what the hell is going on? And the police told me to go away, told the kids to go away, and I didn't know what I was about, then I used to have a VPN called, I forgot the name of the VPN. I used to be on a VPN called the name escapes me. I used to be on a VPN. I forgot the name of the VPN. I downloaded that VPN from Google Play Store. Try to search my Google Play Store. I try to search my Google Play Store to see if I could find that VPN. Because the name of that VPN is very integral to proving my case. Try to see. If I could find that VPN. It's a free VPN. It's a free VPN. It's a free VPN on Google, in Google Play Store. Try to find it. Yeah, I'm scrolling through my phone right now. Trying to find that VPN. The name escapes me. I'll try to find it. Yeah, because the name of that VPN. Oh yeah, Thunder. I believe that's the name of the VPN. Yeah. So I uninstalled it, but I used to have it. Thunder VPN. Very good. I believe that's the name of the VPN. It says not installed on this phone. It was on my old phone. I used to have it on my old phone. So the name of that VPN is Thunder VPN. So this is my Play Store account, and these are the apps I had before my old phone, but it's not on this new phone. Thunder VPN. So very good. So at that time I had a Thunder VPN. And I noticed around December 2021, as I was trying to connect my Simple Mobile, I think that's what it's called, Simple Mobile, to the minutes activated. The Simple Mobile said they can't activate it at the store. I deactivated my phone. I have to go back to the store to tell them to reactivate it again. I said, I already paid the store money. And I thought it was a Simple Mobile just playing games with me. I said, I already paid the store money and they activated my phone. What do you mean? And they told me all I just got to do is to put in the PIN code for the minutes and my phone will start working. I said, what do you mean the target store deactivated my phone? After they activated it, I have to go back to the store. I'm like, who's playing this hanky-panky with me? And who has this much power over my life to be playing games with me? So as I was talking to the Simple Mobile, I noticed somebody sent these girls, high school girls, to distract me so I wouldn't be able to get to the crust of the matter. And they bumped into me. So I turned around, and like, why did y'all bump into me? And they started hitting me, started kicking me, and they were using their leg, So I ran across the street near the Barclays Stadium into a store, and they chased into the store, and there was a guy recording it, and I ran into a store. I saw some kids are about to lynch me, and the guy, the store owner closed the door, and they were carrying a metal pipe. The kids, the female kids, Black American, they were carrying a metal pipe, and they were hitting the store door and broke the glass. It was very scary. Everybody in the store was terrorized, and the store owner called 911. I called 911 also, and when the police came, I was recording everything, and he told the police, yeah, the kids with the metal pipe, they look at the glass on the floor, and the police went and arrested them. And he told the police, he needs a police report, and the police did this too. And I was recording it, and I said no police report. I didn't really understand what he was doing, and I then told him, verbalizing no police report. They told the kids to go, and I told me to go. I was like, I need a police. I said, get out of here. And the police told me that, I was like, wow. So the mob are controlling the police in America, the NYPD saw that mob control. I've never seen such a thing. If I've lived in Africa, I've never seen a police force being controlled by a mob, by a Black American gang, And I told the white guy, no police report, and I left, and the police left also, and the kids left also, and that was the beginning of the Eric Adams administration. And since then, it's been bringing policies to help this Black American gang, and police kill me. And instead, Jordan Neely got killed. So this has to be investigated. this Eric Adam, he acted in concerts, brought policies to encourage people to be bashing homeless people, treating us as crazy, taking our property, you know. So even that Jordan Lily couldn't survive. As soon as Eric Adam became mayor, he died immediately. He's been homeless for so many years and been surviving. But it was a kind of this Eric Adam incited hostility towards us homeless, and I believe he's trying to get me killed. And they said there's something called collateral damage. That sometimes when people, the military does that. If they want to kill one person, they would rather kill a group of people. They say sometimes it's safe, it's cheaper and much more. You know, instead of like, they'd rather bomb a whole town and kill a whole bunch of people than sending their military, their sniper to go kill one person. So the other people would die as collateral damage. You know, so I guess it's Eric Adam. You know, in order to cover up, if he send his police to kill me single-handedly, because I've been criticizing him, I've been criticizing the police a lot. If he send his police to just kill me single-handedly, people will suspect it's a revenge killing. So now it's targeting the homeless as a whole collateral damage. So it's playing a legal trick, so that in court, if he's arrested, he can claim. If I'm killed and he's arrested, he can claim, you know, it was just an accidental killing. You know, but it's been acting in concert and aiding and abetting such killing. And this Jordan Lily got killed in the process of they trying to kill me. You know, so that his death needs to be investigated, because this Eric Adam brought a policy to kill Jordan Lily. And I've been calling Jordan Lily lawyer, and the lawyer was just hanging up the phone on me. The family lawyer for Jordan Lily. I'm like, I guess, you know, no lawyer wants to help me, because I guess they don't want me to be alive and get the money. There's some black Americans don't like Africans. So that's another suspicious thing. You know, I've been contacting Jordan Lily lawyer. I said, I hung up, he's been hanging up the phone on me. And he was basically lying to me. I told him, you know, could you represent me? And he told me, no, he's not interested in representing me. You know, because at that time, I said I was trying to sue the police for sexual harassment. At that time, the statute of limitation was extended for sexual harassment cases under the Adult Survivors Act. And he told me he's not aware of any extension. I said, yeah, there's an extension. He told me, no, there's no extension, that it's too late. So I called, as soon as they killed Jordan Neely, you know, I called the Jordan Neely lawyer. I said, look, you know, I'm trying to sue the police for sexual harassing me. You know, I'm homeless on the street. And he told me the statute of limitation has expired for suing, you know, for sexual harassment. I told him there's an extension. He told me there's no, you know, he said there's no extension. I'm like, how are you a lawyer doing civil rights cases and you don't know there's an extension? And I sent him a text, I sent him an email, I sent him a text, and he sent me a response back that no, the statute of limitation has expired. I told him, please double check, and he didn't even contact me anymore. So he's been giving me a cold shoulder, and I guess they may all want me dead, thinking Africans like me don't deserve justice in America, and then they can then reopen the case, you know. So there's some form of collusion going on, you know, and I would like to employ your Alvin Bragg office to investigate this, because my life is under threat, you know. So as far back as 2021, as soon as Eric Adam won the mayorship, then this black American guy felt empowered to hire kids to be attacking me, you know. And I noticed the kids were kicking me with their leg, you know. And I ran across the street around December from the Barclays Stadium nearby. I ran across the street into a store, and the kids came to the store back. They would close the store when I closed the door, and they blasted the glass door open, you know, with a metal pipe, and it was glass splattered everywhere. Everybody felt terrorized in the store. It was like a movie scene, you know. And the store owner called police. I called police, and the police were doing this to the store owner when I asked the police, you know. I didn't understand what they were saying, you know. And they told him no police report. And I said I want a police report also. They told me get out of here, no police report. I told the kids to go home. I told them to go get out of here tomorrow, and they left also. You know, I couldn't believe it. It felt like a Hollywood movie, that the police is being hijacked by a mob, a narcotic gang. You know, in Africa there's corruption. I've never seen such a thing. You know, even the white guy was bewildered. You know, it's like we're all watching a movie. So under this Eric Adam is corruption to the max. You know, and I didn't know what that was about until I went on Instagram, and at that time, you know, this Damian Lillard, he works for Nike, he's a basketball player, and he had tricked me to send him a message. He said he's a humanitarian, he has shoes. At that time I needed a shoe. And I said, no, and I sent him a message that, please sir, you know, I need assistance. I'm not looking for marriage, I'm not looking for friendship, I just need assistance. You know, I noticed he didn't respond back to my message. You know, he claimed he has a charity to help homeless people. And a lot of them like that, they'll be posting messages. Even that Ade Tokumbo is a Nigerian born in Greece. And he also says he has a charity helping homeless people. And I'll send them messages. I'm not looking for marriage, I'm not looking for friendship. I just need assistance. I'm homeless and during the COVID. And I noticed they'll give me the cold shoulder. You know, and they'll start taunting me afterwards. A pair of Nike hats taunting me. I'm like, this is where, like, go kill yourself or something like that. I'm like, you know, why would anybody want me dead if you're a millionaire paying for the NBA? Why would you want me to go kill myself? And they'll start paying Nike ads, taunting me like that. I did to Kumbo. They started appearing Nike ads, you know, mocking me at the Penn Station, on the billboard there. You know, I thought that was weird. Like, why is everybody so mean to me? Like, what is going on? So, you know, so I'll go on Instagram, and I noticed this Damian Lillard. I put a creepy message on Instagram. Say, congratulations, Thunder Legs. You know, I'm like, this is Thunder Leg? And I put a basketball player, female picture. So I'm like, that's not a real English. Congratulations, Thunder Leg. What is it saying? So, you know, I had a Thunder VPN then, but I wouldn't expect a basketball player to know what kind of VPN I have. So I had a Thunder VPN then. But, you know, and I noticed some people were hacking into my phone. If I record a video, they would steal the video. Videos I record, like for example, when the kids were kicking me, videos like that would disappear from my phone. Bashing the door with a metal pipe. You know, and I'll be searching for the video on my phone, it will disappear. So, you know, and I thought that the Thunder VPN was giving me protection. It wasn't giving me protection. And this Damian Lillard issued a creepy message to mock my VPN. You know, said, congratulations, Thunder. Like, as soon as the kids kicked me in Brooklyn, and videos like that would disappear from my phone forever. You know, so they say no pick, no case in America. I'm like, wow, what am I dealing with? Is this like a satanic cult? How are they able to invade my VPN and steal my videos? So I have no proof, but thank God I'm under FBI surveillance for 25 years. So the FBI, everything I record is in the FBI server, you know, archive. You know, so things will disappear from my phone. But this Damian Lillard, he put a message on Instagram, you know, saying congratulations, Thunder Leg, as soon as those kids kicked me. And I called 911. So from the 911 phone call I made to 911 around that time period, and Damian Lillard posting congratulations, Thunder Leg, that's not a real English. That's a phrase they coin. And that message was, Nando directed at me to mock the way those kids were kicking me. Because my mother said her daughters learn how to kick violently, and she likes to kick people. You know, say when she was kicking my mother in Nigeria, say when my mother brought to Nigeria in 1988, so my mother had her return back to America within a year. As soon as she got to America, she was kicking the white family she was staying with her leg and injured them, and they had to put her out and put her in juvie detention and foster care. She and her sister. You know, so I guess that Damian Lillard was mocking me. And I noticed that the girls they used, I was calling 911, and I said there's a bunch of black American girls kicking me, and you hear the 911 call. The girls said, we're not black Americans, we're Caribbean, we're from Trinidad. You know, so I guess they used girls that weren't really exactly black Americans. They were, you know, first generation Americans. I guess that it is Damian Lillard hired girls that would caricature my mother's daughter to send the message. And you know, the 911 call I called from Brooklyn, you will hear the girls. saying, I was calling 911 saying, I'm being beaten up by some black American girls. And you hear them say, we're not black Americans, we are from Trinidad. So you hear their voice in the 911 phone call. So to get out, so this Damon Lillard was really trying to caricature me to the max. So he hired girls from Trinidad, but it sounded like they were black Americans, to beat me up with their legs, and then put a creepy message on Instagram saying congratulations Thunderland, and put a picture of a female basketball player. And since then I've been getting jumped by black American gangs, and the Nike has been sponsoring ads. Nike has been sponsoring ads against me, mocking me, saying, "Oh, you never win anything. Why don't you try to win this time around?" And they have a female basketball player holding the ball in her hand like this, and posing with the ball in her hand. And the latest ad Nike has, it's on that 34th Street Penn Station of a guy with a ball hitting his head. And I've been noticing for a long time, someone has been hiring kids to hit me in the head, either kick me with their leg or hit me in the head. Like they're trying to make me suffer memory loss so I won't be a witness against my mother's daughter. And as I was trying to buy a phone so I can continue calling lawyers because my mother was dead, killed, my friend Organa is dead, and the only thing I had was just talking to lawyers on the phone, and they all told me no, they're not taking your case. So as I was trying to buy a phone at Target store, the phone was deactivated after I paid for it. And as I was speaking to Simple Mobile to connect my phone, the kids came to distract me and were kicking me in the leg. By kicking me with their leg, and this Damon Lillard coined a phrase after that on Instagram saying congratulations Thunderleg. So between Nike and this Damon Lillard, I'm being jumped everywhere, and I believe, they may be trying to harm me for whatever xenophobic and extortion purposes. And so this is what is going on. I'm experiencing a lot of intimidation like that. This is so impromptu. I'm trying to search for more evidence of the Nike ad.
I just came out of the Penn Station and I saw a guy. It says it won't.
So this is the Nike ad this is the Penn Station. So this is the Penn Station where they have the Nike ad, where they put a basketball player holding the ball, and Nike put it on the billboard in front on top of the Penn Station, put 34th and 7th Avenue, put a billboard there saying, "You never win anything. Why don't you win this time around?" And they had a female basketball player holding the ball in her hand. So I guess they're hunting for my sperm, and they believe they can kill me, either get my sperm, and they can get all the money, because I don't have a child, I'm unmarried, and I guess they're trying to kill me. They say if you kill somebody, you can, you can claim for religious reasons. You're trying to reincarnate the person wants to be born again or whatever, and get a court order to get a hold of their sperm, and so I don't believe in such religious. I don't have any such religious wish to be killed and for my sperm to be given to somebody. No, that's child trafficking. That's an abuse of a corpse. That's necropsy. Having sex with a dead person is against the law. I don't have any religious wish like that to be killed or to die and have my sperm and have my sperm given to somebody to produce a child for me. Even though my name is Babatunde, which means the return back to life of a dead person, but that was just a name given to me when I was born. I didn't choose that name for myself. I don't have any religious wish, to be killed and be reincarnated. That's not my own personal wish. And this Breakfast Club, that Charlamagne used to say that. Said nobody would believe a truth if you make a lie sound very interesting. Okay, yeah. This is the Nike. I'm trying to freeze this. Okay. So that's the Nike eye with the guy with the ball hitting his head. So they've been hiring people to hit me in my head. In my Google Drive also, they had, as soon as my mother got killed, anytime I'm making a phone call to a lawyer, they will hire kids to punch me in my head, hit me with a stick like a baseball bat in my head. And when I called the police wouldn't arrest those kids. Even though I would tell the police what school those kids are from. So, and they said, the best way you can win a case is to claim the witness has memory loss or is in coma, and they've been bashing me in the head. When the police arrested me in 2019 also, they knocked me down, bashed my head on the floor. They said the best way you can silence a witness is to give them head injury. So this Nike put an ad on top of. I go to Penn Station a lot to use the bathroom, in the public bathroom there. And since then, they've been trying to arrest me and get the police to bash me on the floor, like they did in 2019 in Brooklyn, and lock me up in the psych ward. So this Nike put an ad there of a soccer player hitting the ball on his head. Soccer players don't try. That's not the most synonymous thing with a soccer player. They kick the ball with their feet. But the Nike put an ad there, and they included a soccer player hitting the ball. This is. It wouldn't freeze. I'm trying to freeze it. I'm so nervous. I'm trying to. But this police keeps surrounding me. The vehicle and stuff. But the protest has been over. I just don't know why they feel I'm an unwelcome presence for using the phone booth. They've been surrounding me, so I've been saying names. But this American said they should be framing homeless up as crazy. They just packed the new police car near me. And try to obstruct justice through all kinds of. So this is the Nike, the guy, the ball hitting his head. A soccer player is not synonymous with putting the ball on their head. It's more with your feet, they use their, So this is in front of the Penn Station. I say, just do it. Nike. So I think they're inciting people to slam me on the floor, slam my head on the floor, and I believe this is what that is about. So if you haven't, bro, can watch this video. It's on my YouTube. It's on my YouTube. And they put the logo there, just do it. With a ball bashing to somebody's head. I think the last time was a baseball bat they used to hit me in the head in Harlem as I was calling a lawyer to report my mother's daughter. Now they're leaving. They've had a very intimidating presence around me. The protesters have left like 2 hours ago, or more, like an hour. So all this intimidation tactics. So, and I said, just do it. Anytime I go to that Penn Station, some of the black American janitors will tell me to go back to Africa. We'll go and lock up the bathroom. If not, they'll go and lock up the bathroom an hour early. As soon as I'm using the bathroom, I call the police on me. So I think this Nike is urging them in that Penn Station, just do it. You know, bash my head on the floor. You know, so this is crazy. This is crazy, you know. So this is an endangerment of life, you know, and I've been experiencing all kinds of weird stuff. Weird stuff, you know. So please, I need justice. If anybody's watching my video as a civilian, please donate to my Cash App, NYC Homeless. It's a non-conditional humanitarian assistance only. I'm not looking for any sexual relationship with anyone. I'm not looking to be a surrogate. I'm not looking to die and somebody inherit my wealth as a result of sexual relationship, marriage, surrogacy. I don't have a religious wish to be killed and reincarnated. I don't believe in all this Halloween and all this any kind of rituals, occultism. I don't believe in any of that. I just need non-conditional humanitarian assistance only. So please donate to my Cash App, NYC Homeless. And for those that I do panhandle on the street, for those that want to give me money in person, please, the same condition applies. Non-conditional humanitarian assistance only. You know, I'm not looking for surrogacy arrangement. I'm not looking for surrogacy arrangement. I'm not looking for marriage partner. I'm not looking for friendship. Just non-conditional humanitarian assistance only. So this is when the police choked me and knocked me down in 2019. You know, I don't know why the video has been removed. You know, so this is the 2019 July 23rd incident when they slammed me on the floor, bashed my head against the floor. I was like, this Nike is telling them to do it again. You know, to do it again. Encouraging people to bash me in the head, punch me in the head. You know, so they're promoting ritualistic killing of Africans. You know, mob violence against Africans like me. You know, and that is just, you know, and that is just, you know, I don't know why. The video of the police knocking me down, choking me is deactivated. I don't know. You know. So this is what I've been going through. You know, I'm doing this impromptu. I'm doing everything impromptu, so some of my evidence is not flowing simultaneously. This doesn't mean I'm mentally ill. Like this, I regard them, so they should be suspecting homeless people for mental illness. You know, so some of my, you know, so I'm searching for more evidence. I'm doing this impromptu. You know, so that's why everything is like, that's why I'm pausing. Because I'm having a phone in one hand, another phone in another hand. So I'm trying to open, yeah, this is the video of the police choking me. No, bashing my head on the floor and choking me. In 2019, frame up was crazy. As I'm screaming, Mary Garner's friend. Yeah, that's them choking me with their nail. You know, I said they're trying to steal my property. And they stole my green card from me. You know, and at one point they put their nail on my neck. You know, they were smothering me. It was hard for me to breathe. You know. So, 2019. And, you know, the way I you know, it was very likely this gang, Inheritance Camp gang, you know, was working with Nike and they got me choked in 2019. I was just being bashed everywhere. Everywhere I go, people try to bash me in my head until the police knocked me down and I hit my head on the floor also. You know, yeah, this Nike said, just do it. You know, as something was hit, as the ball was hitting the soccer player's head. So, you know. So everybody knows I talk about soccer and stuff, you know. And I chose a soccer player with the ball hitting the head. And the Nike has said, just do it. You know. So this is barbaric for a big corporation like Nike to show their support to their law enforcement, especially after this Avenatti has been arrested for trying to stop Nike. It was going against Trump with Stormy Daniels, the lawyer Avenatti. So this is what is going on. I just want to pause everything here.